Cool. I think that'll be. Yeah, I think we are all sorted. Um, I was gonna say if you can see like in the background like the little like flashy thing back there. If it gets annoying, just tell me to turn it off. But that is my last stream I showed you guys the Vi sort of arcade like kind of thing. I don't want to like pull it over because it will end up turning off and everything. But if the flash in the background gets a bit annoying or distracting, just tell me. But yeah, I know what way to start off anyway. I'm Sarah. Katie is not here again. Bless her, she's not feeling too great at the moment. So we forgive her for that. You're allowed to be sick, or unwell, and in pain. But she probably will be about in chat anyway. Just with little random bits here and there. Knowing Katie. But yeah, I am Sarah. I am on my lonesome again. But luckily enough, every time I'm on my lonesome, I have a different game to play for everyone. So yeah, excuse me. Also, if something does fall on me during this stream, it probably will be one of my posters sitting up there. Anyway, let me know if the volume is too loud or I'm too quiet or something or another. I did have a little play about the settings and stuff before I started, but it's always good to let me know if you can't hear me or if something is too loud. Anyway, but yes, I don't know if many of you have seen this game before. It's a little like indie visual novel type game called Errant Kingdom. I thought it looked cool to play. I read up like a little bit on it, and all these characters that you can see on the screen here. I don't know if you can see my. You can't even see my mouse, so I can't even point them out to you. So like all the characters on the screen here, are like kind of like the people like in the story and stuff. You play as like a protagonist. There's 3 different protagonists that you can play as, but it's not like they're like a shadowed protagonist or whatever it was called. So like you can kind of be whoever you kind of want to be. And you basically pick your route playing this game. There's 3 different routes that you can pick from, but we'll probably get more into that as we get into the game. But these characters over here on the right hand side are your romanceables for this game. So if you so wish, you can also choose to not romance anyone. So we'll see how it goes for myself. I'll probably end up romancing someone, to be fair. But yeah, so yeah, it's kind of like we'll probably get to the story as we kind of go on, but you're in a kingdom and stuff has happened in said kingdom. Yes, Katie will be here in chat. She might be giving me advice or making fun of me for the options that I pick. But yeah, you're basically choosing to either douse the flames or feed the flames of the destruction, apparently. So it's whatever you want to do. Yeah, I'm excited to see my choices as well. I believe this is like fully voice acted because it did have a option for voices. So you don't want to hear me reading out every single character and try. I mean, we know how Celeste went with accents. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this little visual novel adventure thing. So I'm just gonna go new game. There we go. Double click on that ish. Oh, my first name. Yeah, sure. I'm just gonna put my name in there. And we do have like my surname. I'm gonna go there. That is my name. We shall be called. Pick my pronouns. Okay, awesome. You get to pick your pronouns, which is amazing. So for the purposes of this, since it is myself, just do they them. Why not? Oh, wait a minute. Human or a halfling? I had no idea you could pick between the 2. Yeah. Can we like learn before making our decision? Yes, please. What about? Oh. I don't know if you want to hear me reading this out. Letha's her name is? Katie's pronouns are she, her, Sarah's are they, them. Thank you very much, Katie, for the pronouns. They've been known to inherit physical oddities from their fae parent, but these are rarely dramatic and restricted to shark-like teeth or pointed ears. Humans, unfortunately, are quite stubbornly locked into their shape. Halflings may also have a talent for magic and inherit some of their Fey parents' expertise, but some choose to suppress it and turn to martial means instead. That's cool. Or we can be a human. They make up most of the general populace and are the most prevalent race in most kingdoms. They are adaptable, ambitious, and have a wide varied range of tastes and morals. Humans typically have normal, real-world eye and hair colours unless they like to toy with magic to change their appearance. Fun? Oh. You know what? We'll go with human. We'll just stick with human. Pick my role. Oh, Jesus Christ. So we have the 3 roles that you can pick, which I mentioned earlier. So this one's the ambassador. So it says, you're a revered noble from another kingdom, chosen by your king to serve as an ambassador to the kingdom of Novus. Previous meetings between the two have made you see eye to eye. We're like fire and rain. Okay, so this isn't Camp Rock. And you've established a friendly and tenuous alliance. I don't know, yeah, you guys can see my mouse, so I'm reading with my mouse. While newly immersed in the court of Novus, you advocate for the betterment of both kingdoms. However, though you may serve the realm, you also serve the people. The assassination attempt that a lore drop there, puts into question both the king and queen's ability to rule and their integrity. It's up to you to decide how to proceed. So that's the ambassador, we can pick that, or we can do the knight. Cool. The art in this game is cool, by the way, just like with the little cards and stuff like that. You've been sent to Novus from the neighbouring kingdom of Vithris, I'm going to pronounce that as until told otherwise. As a show of good faith between rulers, handpicked by your king, your reputation as a knight precedes you, and you've been charged to serve Novus and its inhabitants in the name of glory. The reception to your arrival has been warm, but following an attempt on the lives of Novus's rulers, everything has been thrown into chaos. You've sworn to protect Novus with your life, but are you happy to serve the sometimes bloody hands that rule? Oh, I will move said mic. Is this better? The mic is like right on my face. Near enough. So we're moving on to the nomad. Just let me know if that's better. So this is the nomad. So by the order of a high-ranking associate in your hometown, you find yourself stationed in Novus, a kingdom with a grudge against its newly appointed rulers. When you're approached, better for now. Does it need moving? No. When you're approached by a prestigious local guild to join its ranks, you know it's an offer you simply cannot refuse. As a small rebellion threatens to find its footing, you plant yourself amongst the normal folk. I'll let you know game audio when you play. Thank you very much. To cause chaos, though it's up to you to decide if you will stoke the fires of rebellion or help reduce them to ash. So, Katie, knowing me, probably knows what class I'm gonna pick already, or my path kind of thing. But I'm gonna go about the knight, because I think the knight seems badass. I'm all about, like, you know, this kind of, yeah, I like the knight. We're gonna go for the knight. So we're a human knight if you've just joined. Heaven and hell suppose 2 distinct species of men, the good and the bad, but the greatest pair of mankind float. What the hell did that last bit say? In the country of Errant is the kingdom of Novus, a place steeped in a bloody, tumultuous history. I'll try and read as fast as I can. Queen Adora and King Thaddeus Levidus rule the domain peacefully, but with methods rumoured to be highly questionable. Military strength is as powerful as ever, and their researchers toil over new ideas to advance the realm. Getting there. Sir Eric Nystrom, Novus's beloved knight commander, has faithfully served the crown for many years. However, his love and loyalty could not save him from being stripped of both his rank and his dignity when he disobeyed the king and queen. The kingdom is still uneasy after his mysterious dishonourable discharge, and the people's distrust for their rules seem to grow by the day. For the rulers, even. Cool. To replenish their softened ranks at Sir Nystrom's leave comes a new knight hailing from the kingdom of Vithris, that's us. Appointed for your impressive potential and promise, you join the ranks of Novus to better serve its rulers, and yet shortly after your arrival, dissidence and discord come to a head in the form of an attempt on the lives of the king and queen. Oh no! While they remain living and breathing, their would-be assassin is still at large. Oh no! An assassination attempt. Hey Nerdvana, what's going on? We're playing a visual novel over here called Errant Kingdom. You've just joined. I'm playing as a human knight. So yeah, here we go. Hope you're doing well. Can we click this? Hello? Do we have just a black screen? Hello? Oh, there we go. I was like, what's going on? Is this it? The palace is... So I can either hit, click the mouse or press the enter button to advance. Ooh, very cool. Enjoy. Thank you very much. I'm sure I will. So the palace is quiet. Everything is on lockdown, every inch of its corridors being... Oh, something just came through our letterbox. Being furiously scoured for evidence, every courtier questioned and all eyes are turned towards the shadows. Tensions are higher than I've ever borne witness to here, and it would appear that change is the anthem for this year in Novus. This affects all of us, and I stop myself from becoming too overzealous and feeling involved to be more involved. I think back to the time I was inducted into the kingdom, a knight to serve Novus. Oh, this is us. Given by Vithras. A rising challenge, but from here I can only watch and wait. For now, anyway. Excuse me. I think this is like a... I think that's like an auto. Oh no. Auto, like, move on. This is the save. So we can save in here. Like this. I'm going to save regularly because I know myself I'll probably mess up at some point. My boots are heavy as my steps echo throughout the empty halls, the clang of my armour almost a comfort as it breaks the silence. Though not for long. Until I see her. Ooh, who are we seeing? Yo! Knight Commander Vasile. Hello! How are you? Look at her. Very nice. The Harbinger, the Angel of Death. She's not one to be messed with by these nicknames. You don't get those nicknames from being too nice. You know, you need to maybe crack a few skulls together, I think. No matter what you might call her, she's definitely an imposing, almost suffocating presence. She descends down the spiralling staircase, the low candlelight making her obsidian armour look like dancing shadows. Her heels click like impatient fingers and her pale blue eyes are reminiscent of a hunter stalking its prey. Oh shit, is that us? Are we the prey at this moment? They narrow as she approaches me and she makes no effort to obscure the fact that she's wary of my existence. I'm also a knight, fellow knight. How do you do? She's done nothing to make me feel unwelcome amongst her ranks, but it's likely that the fact I'm an outsider in her company gives her pause. I mean, fair, you're going to be wary of anyone that kind of comes in and you're not familiar with. My arrival was supposed to be a show of good faith between my kingdom and hers. However, as I'm quickly learning, good faith means nothing to the watchful eyes of Novus's Black Knight. It holds its breath in the wake of recent events, and barely a month into my new station as a knight in service to the Kingdom of Novus, and the lives of its rulers have been threatened. We got that bit in the intro. The last tap of her boot reverberates in the halls as she stands before me in assessment. Oh, report! I don't know how her voice sounds. Could we pivot? Look, it says voice volume, so I thought that meant... Okay, maybe we'll get, like, I don't know, maybe we'll get them later, but I'm not... I fully intend to refrain from looking like one. Oh, that's me! The Western Wing has been scoured and all occupants were thoroughly questioned. No one is permitted to leave even after the investigation is completed. Any and all, me being like, as if I don't know what I'm doing. Any and all access points have been fully secured, and we've informed the nobility that, like everyone else, they must stay where they've been placed until told otherwise. Fantastic. Everyone has to stay put. I'll move my mouse out of the way because I don't think that's the most generous thing that you want to see on screen. It's been made clear that it's imperative that they listen to that command for both their safety and ours. You know, I can be quite forceful. I'll be like, you need to stay inside. I mean, who doesn't want to listen to that? Do you know what I mean? Like, stay where you were. Katie always gets at me for pointing with a hand instead of like a finger, so I'd be going around going, everyone has to stay where they are. Not a good look. not a good look, not knowing what you're doing. I know, right? I need to like show face in front of Livia. Livia's brows climb towards her hairline and she acknowledges, and yes, and she acknowledges me for a moment, letting the information sift inside until she seems almost content with my concise answer. I'm very good at my job. I'm assuming your lack of mentioning any new information means our flock of scared birds have nothing of value to say. Oh, that means we told her what she already knows. That's a good start. Thanks, guys. The disdain in her voice doesn't go unnoticed. L Reader? What do you mean, L Reader? I'm reading it. Flock of scared birds. I don't know how she sounds, so how am I supposed to give her a voice if I don't know how she sounds? They did not. I've had little chance to get to know my captain since stationed here, but I have a suspicion she harbours little love for the nobility. Noted. I don't know. Then you're to check the eastern wing and do just the same. Once we've established that the palace has been scouted in full, we'll need to reconvene and move on to discussing the city-state. If in doubt, go with a Swedish accent. Oh, bro, I know. I need to, like, figure something out. It's not going to be fun. Oh, that's not why I said it. I must have fumbled a word or two somewhere. Understood. I'm understood. I bow deeply to her, and when I rise to meet her gaze, she looks indifferent. She doesn't care about us. She doesn't care about us. She just wants to get the job done. I thought you said L Reader because I wasn't doing an accent, because I know, Katie, you like the accents. Those striking eyes pin me hard to the spot. Watching. Waiting. She's as unnerving as ever, and I know I'd better not depart just yet, but we feel like she has something else to say to us, maybe. Tell me something. Oh, she does. You haven't been here long, and you're yet to see Novus in its entirety. How do these events sit with you? Well, I mean, it's not great for a first impression, do you know what I mean? Like, first kind of... Oh, we've been here for a month. I was going to say first day on the job, but it's not first day on the job, is it? First month in the job. The Knight Commander doesn't clarify, and I think to ask her what she means. So we think about being like, what do you mean, hen? What you talking about? But before I can gape at her like a fish and actually ask, I think better of myself and give an answer I hope satiates her scrutiny. I mean, okay, we can use, you pick these. Just another day at work, or surprisingly it's exciting. I mean, I'm assuming as a knight, like, we've probably seen, like, a lot of things, so I don't know whether she wants us to react in the way where it's like, oh, this is so exciting, like, I'm having a great day, or if she's just like, or, you know, I'm just gonna say, just another day at work. It's just another day of being a knight, you know, you see things as a knight. Situation is alarming, but it comes with the territory. Good answer, Sarah. Good answer, Sarah. It's not ideal that so early into my career there's an attempt on my lord and lady's life, but such is the nature of being a ruler, I suppose. I can only hope that we quell the threat soon. Knight Commander gives a small in her low throat, so that means she approves. Our answer was satisfactory for her at the moment. She doesn't appear to be displeased with my answer, but neither is she impressed. Yeah, I mean, we'll work on it. You know, yeah, we'll figure it out. That's all I can hope for, I guess. By militant design, I do not wish to be walking on eggshells quite yet with my superior, lest I lose more than my job. Yeah, we don't want to... I guess we work for her, basically. She's like the Knight Commander in charge or something like that. So yeah, we kind of want to stay on her good side, if possible. Unmoved, I see. Useful. Oh, she finds us useful. However, I hope there's some more enthusiasm in you for the task at hand. I mean, yeah, sure. Livia tilts her head. The questioning is over. So she kind of, yeah. Report back to me when you're done. My hand clutches the pommel of my sword and my fingers flitting with anticipation, and I bow to her once more. With haste, I begin to make my way to the eastern wing, sorry, not western wing. The western wing. Putting those two together. It's likely that events will play out the same as they did in other areas of the castle, but that does nothing to quell the adrenaline that trills in my ears. Calm, precise, and efficient, that's all I need to be. Of course. The eastern wing isn't far, which should be where the Knight Commander was headed from what I can remember of the vast network of hallways. This likely means that the court mage and demon ambassador are there. Those are impressive titles. Imagine being a demon ambassador. Like, that's a crazy title. Silence sits stagnant throughout the hallways, minus the rhythmic clicking of my armor, and it's reassuring to know that no whispers can be heard. Whispers of curious courtiers not heeding our warnings, that is. I hear voices carrying through the halls, and I think better than to quicken my pace, purposefully slowing my stride. So we don't want to look like we're in a hurry, we want to look like calm and that we know what we're doing. 2 occupants, I believe, and the only one that... yeah. 2 occupants, I believe, and only one speaks in a hushed tone. That voice softer with a hint of an accent. The other is deeper with a consistent, almost devious edge to it. I think I recognise them, Lady Maja and Ambassador Veritas, just as I suspected. I didn't think that these 2 would defy such strict orders. Well, maybe one of them, and linger where they shouldn't. I can't help wanting to know what they're speaking of, my curiosity getting the better of me. I know I shouldn't, but everyone is a suspect for the time being, so we're just gonna go and eavesdrop, because we're a nosy bugger and we want to know what's up. Walking at a marginally slower pace wouldn't be too terrible or nefarious, right? I mean, we have to, as long as you don't look as if you're purposefully walking in slow motion. Aware that it concerns everyone, I don't know who this is, yeah. I know that you know, dear, and for this... oh dear. What I hear is broken, but just enough to determine that they're likely discussing the attempt. Carefully, I close the distance and their words begin to make sense. Forgive me for assuming you know everything, living for as long as you have. Spare me. Do not merely imply that I'm old. You know as well as I do that I'm positively ancient. Well, at least, yeah. At least he has fun with it. Or at least they have fun with it. I'm not sure people's pronouns yet. So, yes. I haven't known them long, but the playful sarcasm from Ambassador Veritas is absolutely expected. There's another laugh, and I'm glad to find that it's not my own. Being discovered as an awkward third wheel giggling in the shadows at the remark wouldn't have been ideal. Can you imagine that? Just like you're talking with someone and then you just hear like a random laugh come from like out in the dark. I would absolutely... I'd be like, who's eavesdropping on my conversation? Get out of here. I won't pester you further, but I'll tell you now, I do not think it to be our beloved Sir Nystrom. Be at ease, my dear. Nystrom? The legacy of the disgraced Knight Commander is still on everyone's lips, even a year after the event, it would appear. Yeah. Oh yeah, he betrayed the king and queen, I think. I think that's what we learned in like the first bit. He was once described to be so loved, but is now spoken about as if he's suddenly a vile and treacherous man. It makes me wonder what his true nature is. I mean, suppose we'd have to meet him to figure out. You're not pestering me, and I know you wouldn't share words with me simply for comfort. I appreciate it, truly. I don't think it to be him either, but still. Eric may not have been heralded for his decisions, but he was renowned for his love. The great love he has for the kingdom and its inhabitants. He was not named the noble knight for being an imbecile. Indeed. Worthy or not, I don't think he would try to unmake what he protected. I cannot speak for the man, but the Eric I knew would not be the villain he's made out to be by some. So, I mean, people are calling him like a villain and stuff like that, but obviously these 2 kind of know him better, so I don't know if they're like kind of on his side with everything or what's happening. I suppose we'll just get more lore as it goes on. We'll figure it out. There's a pause and then... Thank you. I gather whatever intimate details they didn't want others to hear have passed. Yes, I gather whatever intimate details they didn't want others to hear have passed. That sentence makes sense the second time. Is that a hint of an accent I'm hearing? Now that I know that Lucian's kind of like a devilish kind of got a devilish kind of accent in there, I'm kind of changing it a little bit, but I don't want to like do too many accents. I don't want to like, you know. Now seems to be as good a time as any to approach, not wanting to linger too long and make myself an obvious eavesdropper. That word was obvious, by the way. I don't know what I said. I come closer, circling the corner. The 2 stand a few steps away from the entrance to the loft and turn to greet me at my approach. Ooh, look at this couple. Oh my god, I'm gonna save. Just because I don't know what's gonna happen next. I'm trying to think. I think Lucian is they them pronouns because I read on the like description, but correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just gonna wait and see before I like assume one way or another. Lady Marja, as always, gives me a kind smile when our eyes meet, and a small knot of guilt churns in my stomach at her warm welcome. Oh no! By the way, I was just listening to what you guys were saying, and I totally agree with everything that you said. Just saying. Though when I look to Ambassador Veritas, there's a smile there, but behind it lies a kind of wicked, knowing acknowledgement. There is a chance they're aware I was there the whole time, but I can't know for certain. They always seem to know something after all. So these two are who you want to go to if you need stuff in the know. If you need the hot tea, if you need the goss, come to these two and they'll sort you out. I have to remind myself it would be easy to think that when I know so little about them, both of them for that matter. So yeah, we're fairly new, so we do know these people, but not like we're not like overly like wow, like besties with them. Marja places a hand over her heart and gives a slight curtsy in my wake, and Lucian mirrors her movement, but with a bow instead. Knight Steelboat. That's me! That's me! How regal does that name sound? I'd cower in fear at that name. It's a relief to see you in good health. That it is. A preferable way to find our protectors whatever it is. A preferable way to find our protectors, usually. There we go. I pause. I pause because I fucked up that sentence quite a bit. Usually? They nod once. Yes. Oh my god, look at their teeth. That is crazy. That is so cool. So they must be like a fae, I'm guessing, from what the description that we had from the first, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool, I dig it. I dig it. I dig these character designs. Marja tuts at the demon. Ooh, they're a demon. Ooh. Very cool. Clearly amused by their odd sense of humour, they seem quite pleased with themselves. So yeah, I think this character Lucian, I think this is Lucian, is they them? Is this Lucian? I gather you're here to see us back to our designated room? Yes, there has been no signs of the attacker thus far, but for your safety, I have to ask that you return. We currently have no way of knowing if there were multiple individuals involved. Ma'am. Try to be nice about it. If there was a tension in her posture, I didn't notice until now because Marja looks to decompress ever so slightly. That is wise, yes, and I apologise for our disregard of the danger. As inappropriate as they may seem to be, sometimes it was my request that Ambassador Veritas escort me here. The surroundings were a bit too stuffy. I get that. Sometimes you just need a good pal to escort you along the way. So we stepped out for a brief reprieve. I look to the ambassador and they nod in agreement. So this is Lucian then, this is Lucian, and they go by they, them, which and Marja, I think, might be she, her, I think, if I remember from reading the thing right. I would not let Marja venture out on her own, however, I believe we leave the others more at the mercy of danger than us. I think this is how Lucian was said. I assume you've not seen the kinds of storms Our Lady here can conjure. I worry for the simpletons that would dare threaten her, let alone anger her. As do I. She's laughing. The familiarity with each other is nice to see, but it also has me at a loss. If I felt like I was intruding before, which I certainly was, I feel that way even more so now. Yeah, they're kind of like, they know each other so well, and I'm just kind of like standing there being like, you have to go to your room, I have to escort you back now, safety, attacks, everything else. I clear my throat. You know, you do it for like a bit too long, so it becomes really awkward. God, I'm gonna need to have so much of this drinking if I'm gonna talk this much. I look forward to it. It's an awkward comment, and I'm certain I hear Lucian snort, but I ignore it. No need to ponder further about the remark that slipped from my lips. Yeah, please ignore that if you've just an awkward night. Again, until otherwise notified, please stay with the others. I still need to search the remaining chambers for intruders. Once the sweep is complete and the Knight Commander gives the word, you'll all be cleared to leave. We have the utmost faith in your abilities, Knight Steelboat. Well, I'm glad someone does. May your search turn up nothing. I hope so too. Metal taps metal as my hand meets my breastplate in salute. And they're off. I watch them recede back into their room, but before I see her disappear behind the door, Mazja stops. She turns to peer at the moonlight that cascades through the windows, basking in the glow the same way you might relish in the rays of the sun. For a brief moment, she smiles, closing her eyes. She looks at peace. When her eyes open, they make contact with mine, and she offers a smile. Eye contact. She places a delicate hand to her heart and curtsies once more before disappearing. It's normally me doing all the yapping. I know, bestie, it's me for a change because it's a visual novel. So I have to do all the talking. Yeah, before disappearing behind the heavy doors. It shuts softly despite its size, and the click lets me know they are finally safe. Confident that the two are quite clearly very capable of protecting themselves, I begin my search. Let's go. Yeah, I think auto was like, it would just like auto go through the text for me, so I don't want to do that because I don't know how fast the text is going to be and I might miss things. I'm going to save because we're in a different area. Woohoo! Alright. Put that down there. So far my search has remained uneventful, but with that incessant tapping I hear, that certainly isn't coming from me, I suspect that might change rather quickly. If I'm not mistaken, this particular chamber should be vacant. Oh no, someone's loitering around in here when they shouldn't be. What's going on? It's used by few people and not frequented often, and the rustling coming from behind the sturdy door is not a noise a simple rat might make. It's a full-sized human rat. I'm sorry, that was poor. Leave me alone. With my hand curled firmly around the pommel of my sword, I approach slowly, taking hold of the door handle, and immediately, with no obvious means of concealing himself, I see a white-haired man perched, well, squatting awkwardly on top of the study table that sits in the middle of the room. So, like, there's literally, like, a table and this dude is, like, squatting. Like, I can't squat, so I'm like, that was my... He's, like, squatting on the table. He's not even, like, sitting in a chair. He likes to be different. Oh, yeah, wow. Okay, yeah. The dramatic effect. He makes no effort to move despite my obviously hostile presence, and the only thing that makes him bother to cast me a glance is the sound of my sword as I free it from its sheath. Someone's getting busy. Can you imagine that? And it wasn't just him squatting, like, on the chair by himself. Put your hands where I can see him! You know, that's my intimidation tactic. I think I would get intimidated by that. A pair of dark eyes meet mine over the top book that he clutches in gloved fingers. A book that appears to be upside down on purpose, and it falls to the floor with a thud as he raises his hand. It is giving Fenris vibes. I was just thinking that. I was like, this dude kind of looks like Fenris. Could you not see them anyway? Do you have bad eyesight? Alright, listen, buddy. I don't know if I've got like a helmet on or like, but I need glasses myself, so, you know, if I'm not wearing glasses underneath this armor, then I'm pretty much buggered. Unless this character has really good eyesight, then I ignore the jab and quickly assess the situation, taking note of the breeze to my right. The balcony doors left wide open. The assassin cannot pass me without meeting my blade, but... Oh, is this the assassin? Is this the... Is it? You won't get me. I'm sorry? I said you won't get me. I'll be out of those doors and in the tavern before you can say caught one. Is Cocky this one? Is this supposed to be the assassin, I guess, since we just called him the assassin? Is that so? I widen my stance, standing my ground. Such idle chatter won't deter me. Yeah, we have to stand firm. We have to show him that we mean business. I study him as best I can, and his smile is wide and toothy, if not a little smug. No, it's definitely smug. What's a fair knight like you doing in a palace like this anyway? Hey, listen, buddy. Listen. Yeah. A knight in a palace? What are the chances? I find myself baffled to the point where I might actually have forgotten what I'm supposed to be doing. This must be part of his tactic. Some annoying, dismissive banter. We tried bantering and it didn't work. It's only confused us more, which makes sense. A night in a palace is unusual. I thought maybe you'd be familiar with such a place, considering you seem to have slithered your way in here so efficiently. He scoffs, his nose crinkling in amusement as he lowers his hands to his side. He's awfully calm for a man with a sword at his throat. Oh, so we're actually like, we've got him like with the sword like right here, and he's like just standing there. Cool as Larry, or whatever the hell the saying is. Yeah, the glittering of scarred skin on both his face and neck tells me he isn't unfamiliar with pointy objects. Yes. I meant that you're not from here, are you? His eyes narrow. I'm uncertain what it is that gives off that impression. No, I'm not. I mean, imagine it was just like the big brandish from like the other place that we came from. I can't remember the name. Does this game have music or no? It does. Would you like me to turn up the music? I can definitely do that for you. Is that too loud now with the music? I thought it was voice acted, so that's why, because it says voice volume. So, but yeah, obviously it's not doing anything. So yeah, there is music. Can you hear it now? Oh, did I turn off the music? What happened? There was music? Where did my music go? Oh, there it is. Do you hear it now? Is it better now? Yeah, I just thought, I didn't realise, sorry, otherwise I would have turned up the music earlier. But there is music now, so you should be able to hear the background music. I'm not. Is it that obvious? Again, he scoffs. I mean, can't really hear the music. You know what, bestie? I'll turn it up all the way for you since I'm talking. So I've turned it up all the way, so that's at full volume now, so we should get some awesome music in the bag. Then he inclines his head quickly, a skittish movement. His face is almost serious as his muddy-coloured eyes flick to the door behind me. Oh my god, is there someone behind me? Oh my god, who is it? Is it Beyonce? I'd better, you know, maybe turn it up on OBS. Yeah, give me 2 ticks. It's very quiet still. I've turned it up. Can you hear it now? Is it? I've turned it up quite a bit, to be fair. It made no difference. Ooh, can you hear it now? Is that better? You can actually hear the beats now. It's now a bit loud. Okay, cool. We'll put it down to here. Is that too loud as well? Do you want me to turn it down a bit? Is that? Do you want me to turn it down like? I'll turn it down in game as well so that it's not like. We'll turn that. So if I turn it down like this. Hold on. A wee bit louder. I'll turn it a wee bit louder. Like that? Is that good for everyone? Is that good? Is the music good? Just let me know. Yeah, I think there's someone behind us, so oh sorry, it keeps doing that because I keep clicking on and off the game, so it's fine now. That's cool. If you want it louder so you can hear the fab music, just let me know in advance. He sidesteps to his left, his gaze still casually fixed upon me and my weapon that's poised to strike. You don't think I'm just going to let you walk out of here, do you? Remember, I have a delay. Yeah, you do, I know, but I'm just asking. The palace is on lockdown. How did you even get in? How did you get in? Maybe through the open window to our right-hand side? Maybe, just guessing. He laughs at that, an insufferably obnoxious chortle. Apparently he's so wildly entertained at the prospect of being caught, though he insists that won't happen, that he continues to move without a care in the world. Do not move again! You hear me? You hear me telling him like that? He pauses a beat and drops his arms to his sides, and, for the first time, it seems he might start listening to me. See? It worked. Ah, that's cute. You're cute. Hey, no. See you around. I don't know you like that yet, sir. I don't know you like that. You have to stop with these nicknames. As I suspected it would be, his cooperation is short-lived. He smiles softly for a second and then swiftly darts for the open doors, for the balcony. Maybe we should have, you know, shut the balcony or, you know, went over around the balcony instead. I strike out with a broad stroke, but he's fast, rolling forward and evading the tip of my blade by a hair as he tugs up his hood. He casts me a glance over his shoulder as he perches on the edge of the barrier, standing tall and proud, not still tall and proud. With a nonchalant shrug, he leaps. I rush to the balcony doors after him, but my effort is fruitless. Yes, I was going to say fruitful, but that would mean it went really well. All I see is a shock of white hair falling gracefully into the darkness, and a noise that can only be described as a joyous scream echoes in the palace courtyard below. Oh wow. See? We tisk. I can only click my tongue at the ridiculousness of it all. What a glaring mistake on my part to believe that a thief in the night wouldn't think to leap off of a building to escape. Hopefully someone as careless as him will be caught by another come sunrise. I close my eyes and take a breath. So that isn't the assassin we were looking for, and he's just a thief? Maybe? I don't know. My hand clenches the hilt of my sword on reflex. Wow, that just got really loud. Wow. That got super loud just then. Sorry, it just went to loud music. Turn it up about. Where was I? Slot it back into its sheath, and when I open my eyes and turn for the door, I see a tall figure staring me down, an amused smile playing across their lips. I need to stop myself from lashing out thanks to the pure adrenaline coursing through my veins, as I sigh once I realise who it is. Oh, it's Lucian again! Ambassador Veritas, you shouldn't be here. The orders given were quite clear. Was I not clear when I told you to stay in your room? I thought I was quite clear about that, and quite forceful, actually. Oh yes, so very clear. This guy. Or they agree dismissively, apparently more curious about the open windows behind me. They incline their head towards the open balcony, the long golden accessories on their horns clinking together. That was clinking. Seemingly undisturbed by the curious events that just unfolded, they laugh? Having a laugh? You having a laugh? Are you hurt, Ambassador? Lucian looks surprised at that. They give me a warm smile, their pointed canines cresting over their bottom lip. And you can see the picture above for reference. Hurt? Oh, not at all. I'm quite fine, thank you. It was a simple enough question and I didn't intend it to be funny, but somehow I feel like I'm missing the joke. This probably won't be the last time either. I've come to notice just how much they love to have a chuckle. Me prankster. Though I find some relief in it and relax a little now that I can see no sign of immediate danger. I'm just perplexed at how unconcerned they are considering an intruder was just in this very room. Did you notice the person like coming in, or like were you clearly aware and just didn't say anything to anyone? Stay where I can see you, Ambassador. I can't guarantee that he's still not around. That he's not still around even, and I'm like that. Try to make sure that everything's alright, having a look. They nod and step away from the balcony, finding themselves a lavish and gaudy seat to recline in. Lavish and gaudy seats in this library or this room, whatever we're in. Everything about their body language contrasts mine, languid and fluid versus rigid and alert. They don't seem to have a care in the world about what just happened. I continue to survey the room while they watch, their eyes bright in the darkness, chin resting in clawed hand. Did that say in clawed hand or in a clawed hand? Excuse me if I missed a word. Mere seconds pass before they address me. I can assure you that he's no longer here, nor are we being threatened at the moment. Their tone is dismissive, but my eyes are still trained upon the shadows of the space that we share. You sound oddly certain under these circumstances, Ambassador. A trespasser left this room mere seconds ago. Trespasser he might be, but Raiden, I'm going to say Raiden, is more of a familiar nuisance and a guest of mine. Okay, so he was their guest. A guest? This must be a joke. I turn to them and the face I make must be so incredulous because they laugh heartedly at the sight while they remain ever so relaxed in their seat. Ambassador, everyone is presently a suspect. As such, I'm sure you realise a comment like that doesn't sit well for you. Oh, we're being all serious with them. We have to get the serious night head on. They nod again, their legs crossing lazily with a slight bounce to them, an elegant hand extending out to me in a reasoning, almost complacent gesture. That I do, and do not misunderstand. I'm not belittling your investigation. I'm merely helping you narrow down your suspects. My head tilts. I mean no disrespect, Ambassador, but you expect me to believe that? Because I don't. They nod in understanding, but their playful nature hardly dissipates. I realise that this makes me a target as well in harbouring such a man. Mind you, is it not suspect for the King and Queen to also employ a demon ambassador? This gives me pause. They raise a good point, you know, they have a demon ambassador, but now the title makes sense, demon ambassador, because they are... It's unusual to say the least, but Lucian has been nothing but welcoming and kind since my time here. Deliberate, playful air of mystery now notwithstanding. I can't assume to know what their reasons are, but I'll take it into consideration. Though until we find the person responsible, my eyes are on everyone. You have to keep your eyes peeled. Their hand pulls back and they resume resting their chin upon it, a hum of agreement falling from their lips. Invoking the words of dearest Livia, you're not wrong. The way they address the Knight Commander is passive, an afterthought. They don't seem to care too much for the Knight Commander. Clearly Lucian doesn't find her to be as imposing as most in the palace do. Maybe that's... I don't know. Since we're here, I would like to ask, who exactly do you think is responsible for this? What comes to mind of such an individual? My eyes shift to the balcony before turning to Lucian again, and their own gaze looks to glitter with curiosity. Oh no! Oh goodness! I'm gonna save, just in case I get this. I mean, it could be either or, to be fair. Like, to be fair, it depends how, like, powerful and, you know, I can't think of the word. You know, powerful and, like, it's not impressionable, but you know what I mean. That, like, the nobles have for, like, people, because other nobles might be, like, you know, annoyed with them, or, like, fear them, or, like, you know, that kind of thing, or they want to get in their seat of power kind of thing. But also you could have angry citizens who are just like, you know, I'm gonna say a collection of conspiring nobles. I think that's probably what history tells time and time again of people discontent with the manner of rule they're subjected to, and sometimes the nobles think they know all. Who better to rule than those directly involved that want more? Bite the hand that feeds. Better to watch my phrasing with present company being nobility. Oh, maybe they feel the same way as me. You know, you don't know. We might find out about everyone, and they might not. You know. Perhaps some of the nobility. Sometimes having a lofty life isn't enough for some, I suppose. The ambassador shifts in their seat. Yes. Sometimes the thread count on the cushions isn't as appealing as that of the throne. I can't tell if they're teasing me or agreeing with my answer. Maybe one day I'll find out. They tap their golden tipped claws against their lips with a pensive expression, and finally they rise from their seat. As they said, there appears to be no danger or an imminent reappearance from the previous occupant, and that puts me at ease. At least, a little. I'll remain here for the time being. There's no need to worry about me. Though I will say, I hope you're prepared for such a thing to happen again. Again with the cryptic comments. Should I assume you know something I don't? Oh, zoom in! Oh my god, they are actually stunning. Like, in both senses, you know. Stunning! I love these close-ups when you get to see, like, the more detailed, like, character images and stuff like that. Just, like, the art and everything just looks so nice. The ambassador puts a hand over their heart, their posture as welcoming as when I first met them, and they shake their head with a fond look. Look at those eyes, man. Look at those. Damn. I've seen many a kingdom rise and fall. I'm merely supplying that anything is possible. My hand unconsciously grips the hilt of my sword once more. I can't imagine the things they must have seen with the longevity of a demon. May you find yourself the answers you're looking for, fair knight. I love that when they like zoom in on like the characters. I think they look, all of the characters look stunning so far. I suppose all I can hope is that I won't have to bear witness to the fall of this one. My day was long, but the night was even longer. I've been relieved of my duties for the evening after reporting to Livia, but anxiety stays with me even as I sit in the silence of my quarters. So we are back to our room, hopefully having a chill time. I don't know if we can rest after what's happened today. What's this? Oh, it auto-saves as well. So, it auto-saves just in case I forget. Thank you very much, game. Or do I have to turn that on for auto-save? Let me have a look. No, that's automatic save. Quick save. I'm sure I'll remember how to quick save at some point. Excuse me. Lucian's words reverberate in my mind and I can't help but think back to everything that happened tonight. I'm merely supplying that anything is possible. That's what he sounds like. Or, sorry, that's what they sound like in my mind. They have nothing of significance to share with Livia. Having nothing of significance, sorry, not they have nothing of significance. Having nothing of significance to share with Livia feels flat. No sign of our intruders. No sign of anything. Speaking with and trying to calm the residents of the palace easily took up most of my time and ended up being the most tiring of my tasks, unsurprised. I suppose Livia was placated in knowing that no one was found, at least me. That's what it seemed like. It's difficult to read. Yeah, we'll have to break through that one, I think. Before I retired here for the evening, I was informed that my given duties on such an important day tomorrow are patrolling. Great! Patrolling! We get to wander about and look at stuff. There are more than enough knights to see to the nobles and safeguard the palace, but the news is underwhelming, disappointing even. If I won't let this go to waste, I'll put myself to use somehow, orders or not. A name rolls off my lips with little thought. Nice from. Oh, we're thinking about him quick. Lucian had mentioned him while speaking to Maja. In my recent experiences with the Grand Archmage, she always seems at ease. Oh my god, she's an Archmage. That is so badass. That is so cool. Amicable and ready to approach. In that small brief moment, she had seemed so tense. I suppose likely because of what had just happened, but she doesn't strike me as one that's easily shaken. Nah, she's been through it. She's tough. I'm already disregarding my warnings of having some patience, curiosity gripping me like a vice. I was told to patrol that the city streets are also within my care. Finding the former Knight Commander wouldn't be agitating the situation, but assisting it. Right? Regardless, Dawn will arrive in a few measly hours. Hopefully if he's as much as drunk as I've heard him to be, the local watering hole won't be too much of a stranger to Eric Nystrom. I finally stand on aching limbs and drag myself to my quarters. I'm thankful that sleep finds me easily. I need to remember the button. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Katie, if you remember the quick save button, please tell me, or Nerdana if you're still in here and you know a quick save button. I know it's normally in these things one way or another, just so I don't have to keep going into the menu and annoying you guys with my saves. I don't know, let's try. I have no idea if that worked. No, it did not. Control and S, we can try. I think it's one of the function buttons, I'm sure, but I forget which one it is. Merchants are readying stalls for the markets, couriers hurrying from place to place, children running through the streets, all the noise intermingling into a chorus that is life in the kingdom of gnomes. They don't yet know of the horror that almost transpired last night, and for the moment they can carry on worry-free, busy only with the day-to-day tasks that harry them. Imagine being carefree, not knowing what's happening in your kingdom, and like there's like could be like an assassin out. But I suppose it's not coming for like people; it's coming for like nobility and stuff. So I suppose that's why they're all kind of just like la 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 la. If they're lucky, life will remain this way for them, and the assassin will be but a memory. Yeah, fingers crossed. Part of that hope lies in finding Eric Nystrom. After a few hours of patrol through the streets, it seems like a good time for the taverns to start filling up. Oh, it's about that time of day, as it where people are gonna get absolutely muy. That means mad with it, by the way. Google seems to think that there isn't one. Oh, I thought there was normally like a quick save button. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just thinking of something else. It must be like a different game then. I thought that maybe any tavern would do, but everyone seems to be pointing me towards... Yeah, everyone seems to be pointing me towards the Pauper's Crown. I figured it was probably easier for them to direct me toward any other tavern to rid themselves of a night not looking to drink, but they were consistent with their information. So everyone is telling us the same thing, thank you very much. This is Errant Kingdom, yeah? Yes, it is. It is Errant Kingdom, yeah. Maybe there isn't a quick save button and I just have to put it in the quick save slot. One even went as far to say that the Pauper's Crown is the only establishment that could tolerate him. He must be some alcoholic getting absolutely mortal. We love that for him. I've just realised that all of my search results are for Kingdom Come Deliverance for some reason. Yeah, I mean, Kingdom in the name kinda, yeah, you get it mixed up with like some other sort of stuff, so that makes sense. It would appear that he's not particularly well liked. Not in these crowds anyway. Maybe they're just bitter he's not stuffing his gold into their pockets and drinking them dry. The place is easy enough to find with the brightness of morning, its deliberately tacky signs swinging with an ear-splitting creak above the entrance. Eee. Just imagine, it's like... something like that. I can already hear the life that thrums inside and smell the swill that permeates the wood. When I enter, the reaction is mixed. Some laughing faces sour, others pointedly look and then turn away, and some pay me no mind at all. Yeah, they don't really care about me. I'm just a knight doing my rounds. The woman behind the bar at least affords me a polite nod before she continues serving her customers. I vaguely remember what he looks like when I saw him during a visit to Novus some years ago when I survey the room. It's not terribly busy, but almost immediately I think I see him. Oh, good enough for us. He's sitting in the tavern where he's, you know, where we were told he would be. A large figure nursing a... Yeah, I can't find anything, sorry. No, don't worry about it, it's fine. I just didn't want to keep having to go into, like, the save menu and, like, take everything away. But it's fine, I'll see if I can see anything afterwards. But it's fine. All good, thanks for checking anyway. A bedraggled mess, I think that's... Yeah, a mess with thick golden mane that certainly doesn't look freshly washed, and a handsome face that somehow seems wrinkled beyond his years. Oh no. I assume he opts for a window seat so that he can see the sun, but the view looks right at another building scant 10 feet away. I mean, no one really likes I have you on in the background, but I'm having a lie down on the couch, so if I don't respond I may be napping, so any mod actions will need to be done by you. That's okay, that's perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. I really think it's him, but seeing the sorry sight almost makes me wish it was. Yeah, he doesn't look too approachable. Still, I approach. Some patrons look over to me as I finally make my approach, but possibly Eric doesn't even bother sparing me a glance. I'm about to wave him over until I feel a pair of hands grab my wrists and a lively individual near spins me round. Okay, some person has just grabbed our wrists and I think they know us somehow. Hey, it's you! Takes me a second to process this person means me. It's me? Yes, you. They nod excitedly, their carrot red curls bouncing just as animatedly as the rest of them. Oh, they winked at me. Oh god. I need to speak with you. Come with me. I have no idea what this pointy-eared, sharp-toothed stranger is getting at. They're either drunk or playing games with me. I really don't have time for this, so please. I wait for them to unhand me, but instead they give my wrists a good shake. Oh, look at those pointy teeth. Their eyes are wide and they offer me a toothy grin. Look at them teeth. Really? You know what? I doubt Eric's gonna move from the tavern. If it is even Eric, so, sure. I stared at them blankly, waiting to be released, but it doesn't come. I sigh and nod at them with those brown eyes twinkle in delight. They seem pleased that I'm going along with whatever this is. Oh, wonderful! This should take but a moment. I wait to hear what they need to speak about, but they shake their head. In private, please. Ooh. Ooh. They usher me outside the establishment with a polite gesture that clearly says, after you. While my patrol took me several hours, this should be a small setback in hindsight, but my irritation grows. Turning back to where I came from, they follow me and nod towards the side of the building. The sun is high in the sky and I'm doubtful that they'd try to pull something shady on a person in a full suit of armor. I mean, look at me and look at you. You're wearing a cloak and like very light clothing, as it would be classed in an RPG, light armor. I mean, who's really going to win here? I humour them and step aside, and they opt to stand against the rough wall of the building, the picture of lazy content. Oh, another zoom in! Wow, look at them! Wow. Their eyes close for a moment, peeling off the hood of their cloak, and they lift their chin to the sun and smile in its warmth. So you claim to know me? Can't say that I do, I just needed your attention. I scoff at their admission. Why am I not surprised? Surprise wasn't the goal, remember? Point taken. State your name. You're a stiff one, aren't you? Forgive me for thinking introductions should work both ways. They smile and tilt their head back and forth, side to side. Laugh? Or do they mean just laugh? Fair, fair. This person is me, this is me. That's my answer. I'm like, fair. Well, Knight. Look, I'm not in the mood for games. Please just give me your name first. They chuckle again, absolutely beside themselves for wasting my time, it seems. Okay, you may call me Rue. Full name. This time the answer is Ernest, and I nod. Sarah. Ooh, we've been giving them our name. Rue, state your business. Rue pushes off the wall and throws a nod back to the building. They regard me a bit more seriously this time, and I think that gesture indicates my would-be charge, Eric. So, what did he do this time? Throw a strop in another tavern? Scare off some farmer's horses from his bed? I blink once and purse my lips. Word of Sir Eric being a drunkard rings true then. This guy gets into all kinds of shenanigans if he's drunk, so no wonder later. I suppose what else are you supposed to do when you're disgraced from the kingdom? What? You were looking for him, right? Eric, I mean. I just need to ask him a few questions. Is that all? That's all, yes. I need to see the man for myself to get a better grasp on a recent incident. I pause, contemplating omitting the whole truth, but I reconsider. Perhaps I can build some trust here. It will become news quickly that there was an attempt on the Lord and Lady's life. We're telling this absolute stranger that there was an attempt on the Lord and Lady's life, even though we don't really know them that well? Wow. I let the declaration settle in, waiting on their reaction to gauge what they think of it. Maybe the shock of it will let them know exactly the gravity of the situation. My guess is they're not going to really take it that seriously. Instead of excitement or fear, they sigh. Something that looks like a sad, tired expression crosses their gaze, and they steal a glance in his direction again, then at me. So that's the run of it, is it? You think maybe it was him? I have no reason to believe he's a suspect. I have reason to believe, sorry, he's a suspect. Ma just seemed to be worried about him. At least that's what I gathered. She didn't seem like herself of that much, I'm sure. Perhaps it would have been more strategic to ask her instead, but revealing I'd been listening to what was a very much a private conversation doesn't bode well. I understand you need to do your rounds, but I don't think you got a good look at him. Did you look at him? Really look at him? My eyebrow raises, as it just did said moment. I don't know what you know about Eric, but I assume you know something, being a knight and all. But the man isn't looking to throw himself off an even bigger cliff than the one that lot tossed him off of. He only makes eyes for the bottom of his tankard. Prettiest shade of amber, he says. He doesn't involve himself with them anymore, rumours abuzz and whatnot. You must know it would be difficult not to think of him as a suspect. It's hardly uncommon for a man dishonoured such as himself to seek revenge on those that dishonoured him. But it's hardly uncommon. Yes! So yeah, that means that they tend to do it a lot. Sorry, that sentence puzzled up my brain for a minute. Easy to think if you don't know him or what happened. And you do. I know enough to know it wasn't him, if that's what you mean. I take a breath. It's just that I don't know Eric. We were caught in a trap. We can't walk out. He was as deeply loved as much as he was demonized, but Rue's responses suggest they sympathize with him. I try again. I met him once before, years ago when I served in Vithras. He was still Knight Commander, overseeing potential recruits for the Order of Novus. He seemed like a good enough man then, sharing tales and friendly banter with the recruits at our table, training and advising them. If he was as good a man then as he was when he served here, I can understand the polarizing response. You're right, I don't know him, but I want to give him a fair chance at least. I hope he can prove my suspicions wrong. His honesty seems to speak to Rue. They cross their arms, their lips puckered and shifting this way and that in thought. This way. That sounds better than the crap your knobhead comrades usually start with. I didn't know there would be mature language in this, but here we go. Well, that gives me an easy spike, at least. I want to believe you as much as anyone wants to believe in a good knight these days. I want to believe in Eric, always have, and my gut tells me it's not him. Since you've come here to question him, that means your target hasn't been found, and I'd like to think he wouldn't do the job sober. That'd be a funny sight, stinky man pissed up to his eyeballs seen tumbling around outside the palace. Can you imagine that? I can't help but let a laugh at that, but clear my throat quickly. Is crap really mature language? I mean, I meant crap and knobhead. I don't know like which one, like. But I suppose some people like, I don't know, do people, or did you censor it? No, I said crap. I did. No, I said, but some people might assume like crap might be like a bit, you know, inappropriate. So, but it, you know, it's not as if I haven't swore before on this channel, so I don't know why the hell I'm worried about it. Leaning back, I look for Eric again, and just as I suspected, he's still in his seat, a second tankard resting beside what I assume to be his now empty first. I intended on speaking to him about it, but your tone suggests that might not be the best idea. Their nose scrunches and they shake their head. The stories say that he disobeyed an order from the crown and made it into a bloody scene, that the lives of his comrades forfeit because of him. His knighthood was rescinded and the rest, I suppose you know. Rue scoffs loudly and they sneer, their pointed teeth bared just a bit under pink lips, and for the first time I see them annoyed. Oh no, we're annoying them with the stories. Heard that one before, one of many tales. They paint him to be this perfect monster, but not the truth of it. They turned their backs on him, the king and queen, made him go against his morals to uphold their law. Eric wouldn't have it, and so they made him an example. It ruined him. Jeez. So it's really the monarchy's fault, or the patriarchy, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm sure he'd love to have a few words with them, but he has so little drive. What's left of him is parked here in the pauper's crown. Knighthood wasn't the only thing he was robbed of. To me, that much is clear. For a man so large, he looked like he wanted to shrink in his seat. We keep an eye on the old man, and he didn't look fit to pull off any big moves yesterday or today. Even if he did, I doubt he thinks he would get what he wanted out of it. We? A friend. If anything, he probably annoys Eric so much they'd be first on his list. A laugh, then a pause. Kidding, of course, just a jest. The subject is clearly a sensitive one, and despite the passing of a year, Eric hasn't forgotten. I want to know how the events played out for him, but a knight such as myself is not likely to coax it from him so willingly. Correct, I'm glad we know our station points. Provided I don't incur his wrath, I want to at least try and ask him. I do appreciate you telling me, however, before I can finish, someone approaches us from the street. Well, more pointedly, approaches me. They're clad in the same armour as me, a knight of the palace, and I turn to salute. The Knight Commander requests your presence immediately. Has something happened? The palace is still secure, but she instructed that you'll be part of an escort for a party headed to the town square. Understood. I have a mind to bid Rue farewell and thank them for giving me information despite our bizarre encounter, but when I look to find them, they're gone. Oh no, another time perhaps. They saw the night and just skedaddled because who likes to see night? I look to the night again and nod. Let's go. Ooh, I'm gonna save because we're in some nice... Oh, I understand now. You know what, I'm gonna save these all in separate slots. Because why not? There's 9 pages. 9 pages and by gum I'll use all 9 pages. Livia stands resolute behind the heavy desk and waits while the door glides shut as I enter. Wait, glide shut? Oh yeah, like behind me? I was gonna say it wouldn't glide shut if I was entering. Here she is again. Have you anything to report on the state of the city? I shake my head and recount my patrol route. All the mundane details. You know, it's neither upset nor surprised as before. My scouts tell me the same. No one who is dispatched revealed anything enlightening. Regardless. A weathered map unfurls from her hands onto the table and she smooths out what looks to be a depiction of the city. Her gauntlet taps it once and moves in a circuit. There'll be an announcement formally addressing the threat upon the palace. This will be the route that we take with an entourage of others to the square. You and a handful of comrades, along with myself, will be escorting the nobility to give the speech. We are to guard them until it's over, and when we return... I felt like that should have been more of a sentence, but maybe I just said it wrong. And until the speech is over, and when we return. Okay, yeah, whatever. The route that she outlines is open and direct, easy for archers to take their mark, and I can only wonder why such a choice was made. Is this like some sort of like... They're trying to like lure out the assassin to maybe do it again, and that's why they're doing it in such a big open space. I think they're probably trying to do that. I must ask, from a strategic standpoint, doesn't this leave us vulnerable to attack? Livia nods, eyes still fixed on the map. Yes, however, it's the quickest route. Everyone in the group is dispensable. Ooh! Everyone's dispensable! Ooh, that means we can be easily replaced. Oh no, that means Livia's the only important one here. That's the main point. Dispensable? The king and queen won't be present during the speech for that reason alone, so yes, everyone is dispensable. What if the nobility will deliver a speech in their stead, and a public appearance from them will not be promised until we have more intel on our targets? I dare not question her again. I don't know exactly amongst this group is there... Who exactly? Sorry, I missed that word. I don't know exactly who amongst this group, fuck I did it again, is there aside from us for certain, but she means that she doesn't have to even Move on to the next sentence. Such is the nature of being a knight who pledges themselves to the crown, but the manner in which she says it so readily and without so much as blinking begs either admiration for her commitment or fear. Understood. Good. It's simple enough, and I doubt that our would-be attacker would pull anything off with a full complement of knights waiting for them. And should they attack, there's a chance it will give up their position and it will make it much easier to find them and run them down. That makes sense. That will decide how clever or ambitious enemy believes they are. Now, do you have anything else to report? I think back to last night, to the intruder I found perched in the library. I know Lucian claims he means no harm, but I can't in good conscience keep such information from my commander. Oh my god, we're gonna tell her? We're gonna tell her about Lucian's friend that keeps coming back? Jesus Christ, what a child. I suppose maybe, you know, knight's honor and everything, you feel like you have to, but, you know. Ugh, I'm so sorry for all these different noises that I'm doing. Like, it's just been today, like, my throat has not been with it today. Like, it's just been very strange when I've been drinking things. I told you they were getting busy. That's absolutely why, yeah, they don't want anyone to find out about their friend in the place, because, you know, they've had, like, relations with each other, you know. So I feel nasty telling on them, because Lucian seems to like him or know him. Actually, yes, there is one thing. It appears we have a pest problem, specifically in the ambassadorial wing. Her lips curl with unconcealed disgust. Oh my god, does she already know? Oh, she already knows. Oh, I'm fully aware of that particular pest. You are? Dreadfully aware. As loath as I am to trust the demon's words, I'm sure he's not the assassin we're looking for. He frequents Ambassador Veritas like a rat to an open pantry. Ooh! Ooh, we got a bit lower. Oh, you were right, Nerdvana. They're totally like a thing. Oh my god, wow. Though he is not a guest, and he is not welcome here, slippery bastard. Her irritation blankets the room and I feel a certain discomfort at the thought of continuing to discuss the matter, but... Should you see him again, please escort him out. He's still a suspect, but I highly doubt that his reason for being here was because of that. She speaks of him plainly but with repulsion. I consider asking for some elaboration, but I stop myself. You know, maybe we'll find more about the individuals as we can just ask them ourselves. You know, we can be a nosy bugger and just ask. I don't want to assume the reason for his late night visits, but it's difficult not to at this point. I mean, with everything she just said, I mean, we're putting two and two together, you know. What else could he be doing stalking around in the darkness frequently? What else could he be doing, frequently, let alone an assassin that doesn't take their life? Knight Commander she might be, but her tone implies that even her steel fist can't really squash certain individuals. And she probably hates that, because she probably just wants to get rid of him, but he refuses to leave. Squatting on a table, apparently. Yep, squatting on the tables, that's fun. That's the fun that everyone likes to do together. They squat on tables. Questionable as they are. Grimacing, I changed the subject to give her some mercy. That's all, Commander. She nods curtly. Should all go well today, you'll resume your post after the summit. She pushes off the table and nods to the door. The others have been informed of the plan. Find our charges down the hall in one of the lofts and let them know we'll depart soon. My time in Novus has largely been uneventful, and it's been so long since... FNAF reference. I've been put in a place that says my life is being put on the line. Part of what makes Novus so strong, however, is its military, and the incident report has been remarkably clean. Maybe I need to slow down reading, because I'm just like blah 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 blah. Or... edited to be so. So yeah, they edit everything to make it seem like everything's nice and Novus or Noveris, wherever we are. Everything's fine and dandy, you know, everything, we can come here and be friendly and happy. Yeah, but that's not the case. All the media. So yeah, with how tight-knit Livia runs things around here, I suspect that it might actually be less of the latter. For all the stories of the Harbinger and the fear her name invokes, she protects her quarry with indifference in her voice or not. I turn to leave quickly and make for the destination she noted, her words repeating in an endless loop in my mind. Oh, we're back in the... is this the ambassadorial wing? It looks the same, but I don't know if this... oh no, this is the loft. So it's just the same background, but you know. I find the loft soon enough and meet with those I'll be accompanying. I'm not surprised to find Lady Maja or Ambassador Veritas amongst the group, both of them significant figures within the palace. In a group removed from them are other esteemed nobles who are clearly exasperated and brimming with nerves, their restlessness palpable. The ambassador from Vithros is with them, the distinctive look and silhouette of their robes setting them apart from the style of the Novian crowd. There's a hum of chatter in various corners of the room and no one even so much as registers my presence yet. Oh, is it speech time? How fun. Lucian spots me and addresses me openly, the room pausing in its tracks as all inhabitants turn in an awkward unison to look in my direction. Please don't, I hate public speaking. I didn't think this would be part of being a knight. I just wanna hit things. My jaw squares and my lips set in a thin line. I look to Ambassador Veritas, only to find them smiling warmly. They sit with legs crossed and one bouncing like the excited tail of a content cat. I'm here to inform you that the speech will commence soon. Please wrap up any business you have. We will leave in a minute's time with others and the Knight Commander. Across from Lucian, Maja stands from her seat, a complicated look on her face. The others turn back to their business, sighs and tones of exasperation on their lips. They're like, I'm sure they'll be prompt. They don't wish to be here either. Is that so? I couldn't tell with the sheer enthusiasm they greeted me with. I'm at fault for that, I'm afraid. The demon chuckles a little at their admission. Be at ease, fair knight. There's no appropriate way to approach this. All news is bad news, and the good news is never enough for them. A swift conclusion is all that we can hope for. This is just business. Teasing they may be, but I can tell that they mean no harm in their interjections. With how drab their companions are, a sense of humour seems a reasonable way to cope. I mean, yeah, I like a bit of humour now and then. Like, you have to have a bit of humour in you, do you know what I mean? If you don't laugh, you'll crap me, that's what I always say. That I can at least appreciate. They don't feel emboldened to be out in the open without their rulers present. As if to confirm her words, I see out of the side of my peripheral someone giving her a sideways glance that isn't anything short of annoyed. She smiles thinly. I know them for what they are, they just don't like to hear it. So it would seem. We were already informed that they would not be making an appearance, as I'm sure you already know. Are either of you to deliver the speech? Maja shakes her head. Not us. No, the honour goes to our dignitary from your home country. We can only assume that their choice is to show how firm the belief is in our foreign allies. An olive branch not yet broken, if you will. It's reassuring to hear that the choice is to prove that Novus will not turn its back on their allies first, but still worrying that might indicate signs of an internal struggle. Yeah. I hope this gives you some relief and directs fewer suspicious looks your way. Her genuine concern has me at a loss. In light of all that's happened, Maja is consistently kind. We love her for that, a kind queen. Sure, thank that kindness. To you the same, my lady. From what I know and have heard of you, I can only hope that your personal successes haven't given you too much grief. What have you heard? Oh god, were we not supposed to say that? Have we heard things? I nod, familiar with some details of the court archmage and her impressive induction to the palace halls. I know that you didn't use your house name to enter Novus's court and allowed yourself a fair trial without the fluff. Without the fluff. She chuckles merrily, a hand over her mouth. Fluff is certainly a way to describe it. Not everyone can say the same, and I know not everyone is impressed with such a feat. It's hard work. Her smile widens and with it melts away some tension. Thank you, Sarah. You are very welcome. It hasn't been terrible, but some could do to appreciate hard work and see the value in it rather than find envy. It's times like now where building strong allies should uplift us and not divide us. After all, we are all captive in this dilemma, including you and them. Let us continue to be better. I nod, a smile of my own finding my lips. However, I see that Lucian has an interest in our conversation, their face cradled in their hand, eyes darting back and forth between us. Yes? They shrug half-heartedly. Oh, nothing. I'm just observing a very optimistic conversation. Something we so sorely need right now. Right, it's likely you need to move, I suppose. We can have more of these conversations after the speech. She puts a hand to Lucian and they take it, rising then nodding a fond thank you to her. I watch as Maja separates herself from the group, heading for the door and smiling sweetly at Lucian and me as she clutches the frame. You won't be joining us? She shakes her head, a strange, sad expression blooming across her face. I'll be absent for the speech, but I wish you all the luck. Oh no, why is she absent? What do you think's going on, guys? Something's going on, do you think? I nod politely at her departure and hold on to a silent hope that these pleasantries will continue after the announcement. Now the march is upon us. Let us depart. Let's go! Let's do the march! Oh, Jesus Christ. Just as well this thing's sitting here, by the way, otherwise I'd be like, like that SpongeBob episode where SpongeBob needs water in Sandy's place but doesn't say. And he's like, I don't need it, but then he's like, yes, I do. The sun rises high above the entire kingdom and the bells have tolled. The march to Square was as described, direct and without caution. Yet, as we made our way to the summit, no shadow or secret alcoves revealed any attackers. Only now am I aware of how much the light beats down on me, and sweat from nervous anticipation is not a fine lubricant for armour. I wouldn't imagine so. Can you imagine that? We see the state. You can imagine chafing in that armour, man. Can you absolutely nightmare? We see the stage set before the crowd, and I couldn't be happier to finally stop. The formation fans out, and lucky for me, my station is in the shadows of some taller buildings. We get a reprieve from the sun. The courtiers take their seats laid out for them in front of the sea of people, some shuffling dejectedly in places they clearly don't favour. Oh, it does, so even if I forget. Hey ho, let's save anyway while I'm looking in the menu. Up. Though, once I lay eyes on the masses, the scope of protecting the kingdom truly dawns on me. They're a hazy blood of bodies all crammed together and awaiting what news befalls their kingdom. As it is customary, they must first suffer to hear the praises of our gods and their mercy from the lips of some corpulent lord. The man is excitable and his handle for persuasion suffers, so he bellows loudly the protection from the pantheon. I might as well just be going like la la blah la 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 la. Oh, great is the power of our gods, felt in the strength of our Lord and Lady. Oh, how wondrous is the... And then I find myself tuning him out quickly, as would I, because no one wants to sit and listen to a boring speech. I can only offer to scan the horizon for who's attending and how our wards fare, but nothing looks to be unusual or out of place. People are just bothered, mostly. It's hard to say who our potential attacker or attackers are, because even the most unassuming figure can believe what truly... Can believe? Is that... belie? Oh, can belie what truly lies in our heart? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just, yeah. That sentence is just going to be as I have said such. They come in droves like a tributary with us at their end. The amount is massive, but before they can fill the space entirely, I think I recognise someone. A mess of blonde hair and a thick stature with a posture that implies inebriation. He wanders against the current of the crowd to any path that might lead him away. He shoulders a couple of people in his wake, and I recognise the man to be Eric, though there's something of a hurry in his step as he escapes. Rue spoke of him not wanting to be involved in his previous employers, and he makes it obvious. Recalling my patrols, I think the direction he heads to might be the edge of the city, bordering near the woods. This man is going to the woods for some reason or not, probably to just take a piss in the woods, which is fair, because he's probably inebriated. If time is on my side, I might be able to catch him post-speech. There's a brief pause, the winded raving from the Lord Edlin coming to a close. His bow is exhausted and clumsy, red-faced like he's bereft of all air. When he sits, he ushers on the Vithrian ambassador almost pleadingly. Like, please, don't do this anymore. You just take it. You go, your turn. Oh, sorry. All this talking is doing me in, man. I've never talked this much in my life. They look reticent when they rise, and I feel a surge of sympathy for them. As Lucian said, there's no right way to approach this, but I hope it's with some grace. With more confidence than their predecessor, they climb the steps to the platform, rising to the occasion. Something about how they hold themselves speaks in a way not yet spoken. Dude's got aura. They've got aura. As frightening as last night's events were, it's only natural that great leaders like His and Her Majesties of this fair kingdom have the most formidable of enemies. It's also critical that in these times of such adversities we keep our senses keen, our bridges strong, and our friends close. Of this, our two kingdoms, Vithris and Errant, are of one mind. Excuse me. Long have we been one another's benefactors, and longer still have we been friends. Artesian wealth is the joy of Vithris, and Vithrian grains gladly flow to fill your coffers. So has it always been, and so it will always be. This guy's doing some damage control. That's what this guy's doing. Or this person. I don't know if the ambassador is a man or a woman or a person. So this person is doing damage control. I have no doubt some among you attended with suspicions and unease in your hearts. Hear my word and promise of Vithris within. Whatever strife may attempt to visit your people and your esteemed monarchy as it did recently, or in the future, the Vithrian spirit and friendship remains at your side. A formality neither speaking of future definite plans or of the moves to be taken. Whether that is due to the crown not wanting to announce its hand just yet, or that they feel the kingdom doesn't need to know. Yeah, being very hush-hush. Yes, yes, wise words, Ambassador. Truly, we the people of Errantis and of Novus are assured. He congratulates their speech enthusiastically, but it's likely because he's the only one that does anything. I look upon the crowd as the ambassador leaves their stage and they look indifferent, perplexed. There are many faces in the crowd that it's difficult to truly discern what they wear as a whole. Yet, for the lack of a reaction, there's no rallying cry that declares upheaval or unrest. No unified mention of a revolution, Jesus Christ, Sarah, among their ranks. Perhaps there are no feelings that they have for their rulers that begged one. You can never tell how people are going to appreciate, like, the monarchy and everything like that, but I suppose different people feel different ways, so them being like, oh, two kingdoms united in one, blah blah blah. People might not even have known what happened, and they're probably like, what is this guy even talking about? He's talking a load of nonsense. Regardless of my thoughts, the speech comes to an uneventful close and the Knight Commander clicks the sheath of her sword to the ground. A loud knock knock to clear those doldrums and rally the rest of us to gather and leave. We seek to use the same path as we entered and, again, nothing comes to take our lives. The tension present before has receded considerably and the shuffling from the nobility is faster. Someone stalks closer in step with me and I do a double take. Oh, the same robes, glittering jewellery and long inky black hair, but this individual has tawny skin and is quite notably missing their horns. My lips move to speak but Lucian beats me to it with a theatrical whisper. What a shock! The demon has a trick to appear as a normal human. And just like that, my mouth shuts and I feign indifference. So they are able to switch forms if they wish, which is pretty cool. Their bright eyes look briefly back to the podium and then to me. Pretty words, bloody history. Long have the king and queen prospered. The words are of peace, but their hand is strong. Their means of achievement may not align as the speech tells. Remember what I said last night, fair knight. Remember what I said last night, knight. Sorry, that was a poor joke. And with that, they're gone. Cool. When we reach the palace grounds, the courtiers are exhausted. Exhausted. That's because I'm reading this and I'm like, I'm bloody exhausted for reading it. And an excuse. Night. Yes, exactly. Yeah, imagine saying that in a sentence. Night. We reach the palace grounds, the courtiers are excused to their rooms. They separate like an excited flock. Sounds of relief and more than a few, oh thank the gods, not so subtly uttered. Livia is summoned to report to the king and queen immediately to brief them on the reception of the speech, but not before I catch her talking to Maja in hushed whispers. Oh, the girlies are gossiping. The Archmage comes out to greet us with a smile upon our return, and Livia stands stalwart in the doorway of her chambers. I don't... Oh, God, sorry. I swallowed funny. I don't see Oh my god, I'm so sorry. That happened madness. Don't see Livia's face, but I do see the look Maja gives her. One of concern. A warmth there that Livia doesn't seem to reciprocate. Quick and quiet words are exchanged between the two that I cannot hear, but Livia remains as curt as always and closes the door softly behind her when Maja excuses herself. Lucian, in their prior form, stalked off to somewhere of their own fancy, as they tend to do, and as I've come to learn, they'll be just fine by themselves, yeah. Lucian's the kind of person that gathered that they kind of tend to do what they please, and they're kind of like, oh, I can take care of myself, like, you don't need to worry about me, I've got all my things in place and I can do this, that and the next thing, and you know what? Fair. More than most, probably. But it would appear I'm being left to my own devices. There hasn't been a call for a debrief of any kind, nor has there been any order to keep everyone under house arrest. Interesting. Is this the calm after the storm? Don't speak too soon. If it is, it's time to patrol again. As repetitive as such a duty can be, it leaves me an excuse and precious time to hopefully, finally find a certain ex-Knight Commander. So we're going on patrol in the hopes of finding Eric again. Sir Eric is hardly difficult to find, thankfully. I thought I'd seen him steal off into the edge of the city, maybe the woods if he hated the show so much, though it's likely I missed him, and yet there he stands at the base of a tree within town limits, his arms crossed, the harsh sunlight rays beating down upon him. He squints at my approach and huffs, almost as if he expected such company. I mean, it's not as if I haven't made it known that I'm like looking for him, do you know what I mean? And we are in armor, so we probably clank about a lot. So, you know, we're kind of hard to miss. Who is this? Oh, Eric. Here's Eric. We get a close-up of Eric. Time for my close-up. Thought I recognised that shiny speck blinding me. You're the knight from earlier. Did that rousing speech steal your resolve that I'm your assassin? I'm hardly 10 paces away from him and already the ire dripping from his voice is palpable. He idly flicks a grasshopper off his tunic and grunts when it relocates itself onto his breeches. There's not much I can do about his feelings for the knights, so I try to approach as kindly as possible. I only came to ask some questions. Of course you did. He says it so flatly, barely a semblance of care, then adverts his gaze to anywhere else but me. Rue did emphasise that he wouldn't be enthused to speak to me, and it would appear that they were right. I've already spoken to Rue. They were quick to defend you. His eyes flutter shut and he sighs. Of course they did. When they open, his demeanour softens, something like sympathy shining in bright amber. They also told me that you wouldn't want to speak with me. I don't. But I figure you're going to ask your questions anyway. My bones feel like they must creak from how rigid I've been until this moment. I was fully expecting him to tell me to piss off and to leave empty-handed. You know, I wouldn't have blamed him if he did. I almost mutter a thank you for him apparently humouring me, but making this as short as possible probably suits him better. I only wanted to see you for myself, the man spoken of both fondly and in hushed, harsh voices. Wow, you're a dramatic one, huh? I mean no offence, but I suppose there is little more flair to those words than necessary. He snorts, gravely mumbling about how hard simple talk is to come by. Believe it or not, I come looking for answers, a solution. I don't know you, only what I hear, and stories are second-hand, not necessarily the truth. My choice to come to you was not because I believe you to be the assassin, but rather that someone had mentioned you, rather worryingly I might add. Eric's face shifts into one of further exhaustion mingled with annoyance, the whites of his knuckles paling when the skin pulls taut. So, worry, is it? Afraid I'll be the beast with an open maw? It didn't sound like that. More like she was worried for you, specifically. Something in him stops. He's been brusque until now, yet my words strike a chord with him. She who? The words were not for me, but they have knights spying now? No. Gods above help me. I did not mean to eavesdrop, but during my patrol to secure the palace, I overheard some of the courtiers speak of you. I'm sorry. It wasn't an accusation, it was a conversation that felt reassuring? Yes, what? I haven't said her name or even implied it, but he speaks it in certainty. I could deny it was her, but it's incredibly unlikely the palace would open its doors to simply affirm his words. Maja is the only one in that place that would give a piss about me. For anyone else, I'm just juicy gossip for the vultures. You sound certain. I am. There's no room for doubt. His hard gaze assures me of that. She's a kind woman, kinder than I've ever known and more than this kingdom deserves. You'd be hard-pressed to try and tell me anyone else. She shouldn't worry, it's more than I deserve. The manner in which he speaks about the Archmage is with reverence. He looks weary in a way that seems to take him to some far-off place. There's something in his voice that almost sounds like... You knew her well, I take it? His eyes softly close, and when they open, he looks different. Everyone's got a history in this place, man. Everyone's... Oh my god, they were lovers! They were roommates! Damn. Damn, they were roommates. Damn, people are courting about with everyone in this game, man. Obvious, is it? We were lovers once, she and I. From sunrise till sunset. Okay, dude, I don't need the ins and outs of it. You could have just said that we were lovers once and that would have been fine. Can't say if the kingdom was any better then, but then everything felt better when we were together. Love. Love. Is this story safe for work? Listen, it did come with like a mature rating, but I think that was for like the language and things like that. I really hope it's safe for work. If anything comes up that is not safe for work, I will quickly have to swap to my break screen because damn. Damn, damn, damn. We sought for better things, better days. It felt like there was a real, genuine effort for change, that the people we served tried for better. Tried for better even, not tried for better. But me being thick in the head and sick in love didn't see the big picture. Which is... the kingdom doesn't give a shit about us. Here he goes. He steps forward, his mouth a hard line while he grits out his next words. Novus is strong because it doesn't care. It's a ruse, a joke. My story is that I failed to follow orders, nod my head and go along with murder. When I pledged my life to the crown as a knight of Novus, I promised to bring order and honour, not... He spits at his feet like poison had welled up on his tongue. Not whatever bullshit this is. There is a heavy silence that follows. From irritation to accounts of a deep love to utter revulsion, Eric tells his side animatedly. Jesus Christ, are we getting this dude's lore? Is he just like lore dumping on us? Like, we've just got him to open up and now he's like telling us like every nook and cranny of his bloody life. I'm like, listen dude, I just wanted to make sure that you weren't the assassin. I'm probably guessing from this conversation that you're not the assassin. So... He doesn't come off as the kind to throw a theatrical display to convince me, nor does he divulge specific details of his mission. Hashtag overshare, yeah, I mean, right? Like, dude, we literally just started talking like 5 minutes ago and now you're like, whoa. Watching the shift in his behaviour just tells me that I'm looking at the aftermath of a very broken man. Oh. For all his anger though, he sighs and leans back against the trunk of the tree. He closes his eyes and takes a moment for himself. And when they look back, something in them resets, comes even. Okay, yeah, sure. I've said that I didn't want to talk to you, and yet I've raved at you like the boy when he takes my drink. The boy? Little snake that really likes to poke bears, even when this particular bear is not having it. I see. It's just a guess, but I think this boy might be the friend Rue had mentioned earlier. Ask your questions, Knight. You want to know if it was me, right? Hey, you made that rhyme. Hey, you're a poet, dude. Well done. You should go into lyricism. You should become like a bard or something rather than getting drunk all the time. Embarrassingly enough, I haven't given much thought to what that question might be even. I did want to know if Eric would do it, but he's the only one with a descript testimony of what might be a suspect. I know less of the kingdom than I thought, and even less now. Let me ask you this instead. Would you do it? I would. The answer comes immediately, dismissive and uncaring. I would if I were a man that thought it would change anything for the better. Blood for blood, some might say, but we don't need murderers solving our problems. Especially if that means making more problems for Maja. His voice is quieter again. The vitriol in his tone doesn't touch her name when he utters it. He cares for her still, but we'll see how long that lasts. If I'm to believe you, who do you think would? Eric shrugs non-committedly. Oh great man, thanks. Can't say. They were good enough to escape, so I doubt it was any common folk. Either I say you try to ask a proper assassin yourself, or you start thinking about who you trust in the palace. I catch the scoff in my throat. Technically I did ask an assassin some questions, but not the ones I would have wanted to in the moment. Him leaping off the building cut our little meeting short. Eric does at least provide me with something to think about. It's possible that the assassin could have escaped, or that they hadn't left at all. You mean they're still around the castle? Can you imagine that, still around the palace, just going about and no one's the wiser? The latter goes over my head though. It's not like me to investigate the lords and ladies, but this is to be my home indefinitely. Oh, so we're stuck here. I can't imagine this is pleasant for you. Thank you for answering my questions. My tone shifts into one of practiced authority when I address him. That'll be all. I hope the rest of the day treats you well. You like that shift in authority? I get it. He scoffs at the salute I give him, arms folding across his chest again. Back to business again, are we? What's your investigation shown you? No solid leads right now. Consider yourself off my list. At least now I can be glad you won't ask any more questions. Though I've got a question of my own. Two, actually. What's your name? Sarah? That was phenomenal. Are you a thespian? I mean, I'm not technically trained as a thespian, so you know, it must be like a hidden skill. Katie was more of a thespian than myself. I never touched drama and the likes, but it's just a hidden talent that I possess, I guess. Sarah, number 2, why do this? Why ask me anything? Why not just turn me in and get yourself a pretty ticket to the laps of luxury? There's bitterness there, but also genuine curiosity. Perhaps even a hopeful response from one night to another. I'm gonna say nope. I mean, we could turn him in, but it's our choice. We also don't know enough information. But I mean, turning him in wouldn't really do anything because, like, no one's really confirmed or denied that it was him. I mean, true. As you said, it solves nothing. It really doesn't. Suppose I do. I turn the man people think might be a criminal despite what you told me. I turn in the man, sorry, people might think to be a criminal despite what you told me. If I'm a thespian, then I'm messing up my lines a lot and I'd probably get fired from any job that I ever had. I gain the favour of their majesties, maybe get a promotion, and I'm lauded on the lips of people far and wide. Then what? If there is something corrupt in these walls, then there's a chance a man hung for nothing and it continues. Though there are questions you didn't want to hear, there were questions I had to ask, to know for myself. I do want to see this kingdom persevere, but justly. The corners of his eyes crinkle. He says nothing for a moment and half laughs, half scoffs. That was almost moving. I hope for all your bravado that you're not just a fool. Hey! This was my authoritative side coming out. You know, on my level thinking head. I fix him with a frown, honesty for what seems to be honesty. Yes, and yet the mocking persists. But maybe rules are what we need. It's up to you if you want to poke around places you shouldn't be. He shrugs, nonchalant, apparently amused at the irony. I was in a place where I should have been when I got fucked. Shows what kind of line you're dancing on, knight. Eric turns his head to the sun and nods. Looks like it's about time you head off. The sun sets high in the sky, a clear blue expanse no matter where you look, and I'm not sure what he means. Sun is still up, knight. Means you still got a whole lot on your plate. I answered your questions and you answered mine. More or less. He continues to stare me down like he has been. No indication of what he thinks of me after that brief exchange. He is smiling though, so I think he's warming to us. I'd like to think that we at least came to an agreement of sorts, but it's hard to say if he tolerates me more because of it. My gut tells me that it was a positive experience in a slew of some rather bad ones for him. Another time then. We'll see. I mean, I'll probably see you about again, Eric, since you're one of the main characters in this story. I turn on my heel and leave Eric to his privacy. There we are. As the winds urge me back to the palace, I can't help but think of the irony of that a man like Eric, despite near being tickled by drink, can start anew. Appearances aside, the former knight doesn't look incapable. I hadn't thought to ask him what he's been doing since his dismissal, but he still looks familiar with a sword where there was one strapped to his back. Yes, he did have one on his back. If Novus is as intolerable as he says it is with its current rulers, why not run? He could make a new life with a new name in some other far-off land that knows nothing of him. That is true, you could just leave if you don't like the way the place is being run, but sometimes it's hard to leave. Maybe that's a coward's choice and not one he'd favour. Excuse me. Maybe it's Marja that keeps him here, or a simple dream of better times that could be in his future. Chance. There's an inexplicable draw I feel to this place, and that might even be the same thing that keeps him here, that keeps them all here. The Knight Commander, the Archmage, the Demon, the Fae, even the Assassin. There's a kind of wonderment within these walls and its inhabitants. It sounds like we're getting to the end of a chapter with this big long speech. We stand at the precipice of change, and as I approach the palace doors that swing open for my welcome, the feeling that settles in my gut is that Novus cannot wait for what we all have in store. I feel like that was a chapter. I feel like that was like we've accomplished something. That felt good. You know what I mean? It feels right. I might have had the first restful night of sleep I've had in a long while last night. Oh good, so we weren't called up in the middle of the night to do some laborious or laborious task, whatever way you want to say it. Or maybe it's more appropriate to say it was a coma because I didn't even stir, not an inch, when the first announcement of morning drills were called. Not even an inch when the first announcement of morning drills were called. I had to be rolled out of bed like a dead body according to my squire. That sounds like me. I love my bed. Honestly, I love it. It would take me... I would just love to sit in it, sleep all the time. If I could get paid for sleeping in bed, I would. The poor lad looked mortified. Yeah, sorry you had to see me in that state. At least it's my day off, I suppose. I was gonna say it's our day off, but we still have to do morning drills. But they're mandatory, however, day off or not. And the endless cycle of conditioning our bodies for battle to protect the Golden Kingdom continues. Have to make sure that you're keeping that body in shape. This isn't unusual and definitely completely standard in my line of work, but considering there have been absolutely no skirmishes in my time here, it seems a little excessive. Like, what are we here for? What are we training for? Why are you pulling me out of bed when I could have slept? Bithrian military is a tight complement, disciplined and orderly, but in some ways Novus feels oppressive, almost as if they expect the fight and prepare it in earnest. From what I'm gathering, Novus has the sense that it's like there's always like something going on, like some sort of troubles in the air a lot of the time, or this isn't the first time maybe some sort of mess has gone on, or you know, different things. So it feels like they've been through this before and they just constantly prepare for the next thing to happen, like it never rests. Or perhaps I just don't enjoy training for 2 hours right after waking. Yeah, I mean, imagine waking up and then the first thing you have to do is train for 2 hours. Absolutely not. At the mercy of my Squire Maddox, or Mads as he insists, I was at least able to find time for a warm bath. Even though I'm pretty sure I could hear my body creaking in the warm water as I let these weary bones relax, my mind was still restless. All I can think about was how I wanted to know more. More about what's going on, about this mysterious assassin that had vanished, why Eric's mission was so important, and just this general feeling of something else in the air. Maybe I'm in over my head and this tapestry of small mysteries is only becoming larger because of my curiosity. You know what they say about curiosity, everyone. I urge my thoughts to cease as I'm dressing, and then I hear a light tapping on the door. My liege? Come in. Oh, my liege! My liege! There he is. Good old Mads. My liege. Ooh. As polite as ever, Maddox enters. He holds my armour in his hands with a bright mirror-like polish applied. I blink for a long beat as he approaches, and the sunbeams hit the breastplate just right so it's glinting relentlessly in my eyes. He pauses, a sheepish smile on his face as he angles it away. My apologies. That's impressive work you've done there. My enemies will never see me coming if I strike by daylight. Maddox chuckles. Can we call him Mads? Mads chuckles, shifting the metal in his hands awkwardly. I'll take that as a compliment. One usually becomes skilled in polishing armor when you've been in the business of being a squire for a while. Ha! You've been a squire for some time? Something like that. A bit older than most, late induction and all, but never mind that. He holds out the armor like an offering to change the subject. Shall I? I shake my head and gesture for him to put it down. I'm not patrolling today or have any pressing matters to attend to, but still my mind wanders. Before I can stop myself, I ask, Mads, can I ask you some questions? Oh, we do call him Mads. There's a look of confusion and then concern, followed by something that looks like unease. I didn't think he was so easily startled. You're not in trouble, I assure you. It's not your fault, boy, it's not your fault. Oh, sorry, usually when anyone asks me anything, it's the Knight Commander. That woman put the fear of gods in him. Jesus Christ. Let's just sit, shall we? I pull up my desk chair for him to sit, giving it a firm pat. Come sit. And seat myself on the edge of my bed. He plops down rather stiffly, looking grateful to be grounded. He's probably been standing for his whole life, and this is the first time that he's able to sit. I wonder how much information I can pull from him. He seems just a tad shy, but if implying he's been employed here for some time, I might be able to glean some knowledge from him. This gilded cage seems to put its patrons' all willful ignorance and airy behaviour at ease. The courtiers here make it a pastime to gossip, and the shrill titters from the ladies sharing rumours are aplenty. Their lips seem to be as loose as their morals, and hopefully Maddox enjoys some harmless eavesdropping. I need to know a little more about the kingdom. I'm a little out of my element and I want to assist in the investigation. I've done some intel gathering of my own and it's led me down some interesting paths. However, I need more. Mads lights up at this, looking a little more like the young man he is when he smiles. That's admirable, my liege. I'll try to assist you in whatever way I can. I sigh, appreciate to know that I have someone's support in this place, but it might be short-lived after my next question. Tell me more about Novus's underbelly. I know there's an assassin's guild here in its midst, but I need to know where. There's a pause, and that smile ever so slowly melts away. Much like a bird would, his head tilts and holds my gaze with something akin to incredulity. I probably said that right first. That's quite the inquiry. You want to find the Assassin's Guild? To which end? To investigate? Only just, you know, assassinate you? Now it's my turn with the awkward smile. Well, yes, I have considered that. But if it's an organisation, I imagine they have a mind to fill their coffers. It's possible they might try to kill me, but a parley in gold might produce a more favourable meeting. If you want information, you might be better off and more safely be able to ask the Grand Archmage. She has a number of spies under her wings. Hell yes. Sounds just like Spymaster Liliana. We love that. This revelation is both surprising and not. Lady Olayinka has always produced an aura of being readily capable as well as resourceful. Having eyes and ears in places she cannot reach doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility. Sound choice for someone in her position. Lucian comes to mind as another individual that might be in the same business, but they seemed more concerned with being personally in the know rather than employing others to do their snooping. Yeah, Lucian seems like the type of person that would rather do their own investigating, get their own gossip, rather than having others report back to them with gossip. That does sound helpful, however, I have no doubt her hands are already tied with learning all that she can and already has. Do you think there's value in finding this place, threat of death or not? It would be optimal not to drag Maja into this business, even if we're all steeped in it. I'm not particularly fond of the idea of word going around about a knight consorting with assassins as the new hot gossip, because you know someone would probably spread it out there. Mads continues to press me with a stare and I do the very same back. You really want to do this? For the kingdom? I just want to make this place safe. I do. This may not be my home country, but I do want to see it protected. Countrymen put so much stock into their roots that they remain just that, rooted. I was handpicked to serve Novus, and while I still grew up in Vithris, there's no reason for me to discriminate against the well-being of this land. Well, that I'm at least happy to hear. We're short on heroism these days. A chuckle escaped me. Don't call it heroism just yet. I care, but I'd rather not see the world burn. Truly, although I do think it to be heroic, at least in my humble opinion. Maddox smiles, a small reassuring thing. Thanks for the vote of confidence. I'm here to support you, my liege. Heroism, huh? So, are you willing to help me? There's a moment where it looks like he might protest, but instead he crosses his arms and looks to his lap as if seeking answers. There's a sign and he peers up. There's a sigh, sorry, not a sign. He didn't see a sign while he was sitting in his lap that says, "You must join us in this crusade!" There's a sign and he peers up through his red bangs and then nods. I gave my warning, I can't stop you. Well, I could try, but I'd rather not. Excuse me. God's sake, that's them safari nuggets, man. I had a really great dinner. It was just a great meal. Some dino nuggets and some sweet potato fries. We love that for me. A fully grown adult eating dinosaur nuggets. Well, it was safari nuggets, sorry, not dinosaur nuggets. There was like lions and elephants and giraffes and everything in it. It was a very fun meal. Yes. I've only heard a few. Ooh, I love a beige plate. Don't we all? Beige plates. Beige plates are some of the best. Especially when they've got different shapes in them. We love a good beige plate. I've only heard a few scatterings of information, usually bloody missives with a serpent stamped on the parchment when it's not too soiled. I know not of where they originate, but I hear it's somewhere around here. Serpent. How appropriate. Of course it's always a serpent. It's always a serpent when there's like assassins guilds or something like that. You know, a big original. No, I'm kidding on. No suspicious rundown buildings, no holes in walls, any nonsensical phrases you've heard. He shakes his head with a frown, an apology in his eyes. Well, my liege, I imagine secret organisations do make a habit of keeping those things, well, secret. As much as he's right, and I feel ever so slightly foolish for even asking, they do have a known insignia, which, now that I think of it, seems to ring some bells. Recalling recent events, Livia confirmed that our nightly visitor was indeed an assassin, and that she was very familiar with him. That night was a haze, but I do believe I remember seeing some kind of distinctive tattoo on his arm. He may be part of the guild, but not the one that... An organisation like any other must carry its brand, just like the Order of Knights carry the sigil of Novus. An Order of Assassins might brand their people as with their calling card. I could ask Livia of him, that is, if I fancied the idea of declaring my extracurricular investigations to my commander directly. Yeah, I don't think we would get extra credit for doing extracurricular investigations. I feel like she would probably tell us no. And can we just like not involve her and just kind of do it on the side, like a little like side job? Which of course I don't, yeah. But a certain individual does come to mind. The ambassador, they know of him. Well, of an assassin, I mean. Ambassador? Do you mean Ambassador Veritas? The fact that I didn't have to call them by name is telling. It's very likely they know more and are sharing intimate details with him, I assume. There you go, intimate details. He coughs, apologising for a sudden sore throat. Seems that the ambassador makes no secret of their liaisons. I'll go and do some digging. Thank you for all your help, Mads. Mads stands just as I do, gripping the breastplate a little more insistently this time. You're very welcome, but I must at least try to persuade you that you let me put on your armour. Criminal underground searching was not on your itinerary today. A laugh escapes me. It certainly wasn't. Meh. Meh. I'll cover for you if anyone gets too nosy in your business. Just be safe. I nod a silent promise and wait as he straps on the armour. Oh, we're going to find the ambassador and figure out about liaisons and everything else. What fun. I thought I would like, I lost my mind for a minute. I thought I just saved. That would have been absolutely insane. After a brief conversation with some rather uncouth courtiers, the next leg of my travels leads me to the palace gardens. I find it's not often I stop to enjoy its splendours, appearing almost ancient in decor. It's both wild and refined in its beauty, a crescendo of chirping birds and cicadas relishing in the light of the sun. Yes, I say cicadas, not cicadas. I'm not American. I'm Scottish. This is how we say it. Vines like creeping fingers wind around the aged columns and flowers with a faint, glowing halo encircling them, adorning the stonework. I then spy the demon ambassador reclining effortlessly at the lip of an elegant marble bench. They bask in the glow of the morning rays, unperturbed by the unsubtle wide berth the other courtiers heed them. Lucian is as much of a marvel at core as they are to look at, ethereal to the point of making everything else around them appear mundane. I mean, that's a very apt description of Lucian. I approach them at a steady pace, but as though they already know of my approach, they look at me and smile. Good morning, fair knight. Good morning to you, Ambassador. They wave a finger at me and click their tongue almost fondly. Ah, as I have already told your fellow compatriot, you may forego the formalities. I'm not one to relish in titles, nor do I care for self-imposed importance. You understand, I hope. As you wish, Lucian. They nod once in approval and lay a hand on the empty seat next to them. Please. It looks pleasant enough, and I nod, obliging to the request. The loud clacking of my armour against the surface breaks some of the serenity. Yeah, you could clink, clink, clink. Everything else, man, you wouldn't want that. I'd be like, for God, love of God, take the armour off. Just wear some normal clothes. They chuckle, fist at their mouth. Are all Vithrian knights so dutiful? Do you not take days off? It is my day off, actually. Really? A look of mock surprise crosses their features. You've certainly fooled me. I prefer less rigid clothes on my days of leisure. I do hope you don't boil like a crab under there. I'm not wearing this because I enjoy it. Certain activities I have planned deem that I might need it. Oh. Lucian looks intrigued and their brow cocks at me. Though the courtiers seem to avoid them, they still skirt around the area like carrion birds. Likely intrigued that someone is actively engaged with them, I suppose. There were a couple of questions I wanted to ask you about certain individuals, if that's alright with you. Is that so? I see. They hum low in their throat and say nothing, more scanning the horizon. I watch them as they look around, not a care in the world and not bothering to answer my question either. Their gaze travels, and while they do not directly look at them, I can tell they watch the others that stray near in their peripheral. Thinking it might be better to speak elsewhere, I ask, may we speak somewhere private? Ah, so those kinds of questions. Of course, let us relocate. Your comfort is paramount. They rise and smile politely. Come, I know a place where we may speak freely. Lucian gestures for me to follow, and I keep a steady pace at their side. The path they guide me down winds away from the main portion of the gardens and directly towards yet another dilapidated building. This one looks weather-worn and has been chipped away at it by passage of time, yet it's every bit as beautiful as the rest of the gardens. It could very well be a chapel. Chapel Roan. God, what have you done? Or she got away. That's my Chapel Roan impression, and that's all you're getting. It could very well be a chapel, and it's haunting, a chill rolling down my spine as we draw nearer. They approach the door first and lay a gilded hand upon the cracked wood, gesturing with the other as they urge me to pass through. There's something about the playfulness that lingers at the edges of their poised demeanour that makes me second-guess obliging, but not enough to decline. I need to remind myself of my confidence in the chance I'm taking and why, and so I step forward. I have to be like, I have to remember why we're doing this. Look confident. Step forward with purpose and meaning. Turn into authoritative person again. When I venture through, I fully expect an empty hall, possibly something similar and grown over the previous area, yet another echo of what once was. feel something wash over me, a warm sensation that almost doesn't wholly register, or wouldn't think to. Pews line the room, and a large oaken table with a map outlining the city stands pride of place in the centre. A familiar feeling settles in my gut, the one that's usually present when I report to my Knight Commander. I turn around to stare at Lucian. You wish to speak to me about private matters? I can practically feel the mischievous glee in their voice when they speak. I knew Lucian was a little audacious, but that appears to be a massive understatement. Why here of all places? In my superior's command room? They steeple their fingers together and give a lazy shrug. You wished for privacy, and I led us to the most private place available. I knew for a fact that dearest Livia wouldn't be present, and I know that no one dares to poke around in the den of the lioness. It simply seemed the most appropriate. My mouth hangs ajar. While there is some logic behind the decision... Oh, here we go! Here we go, so we can actually, like, we can start to, like, do the romance and things if we want to. There's a romantic option down at the bottom there, so we can... Ooh, we can start to decide who we want to romance. It's 2 hours into the game and we've got our first possible love dialogue option. You know, I haven't actually quite decided yet. Out of like everyone that I've been interacting with, because I say this stutteringly because you can have polyamorous relationships in this game as well, but I can't remember which ones you can be polyamorous with. So if I'm gonna, you know, like, you know, be with someone, I'm probably gonna be with them individually and not try and multiple people. So yeah, I haven't, maybe I'll have a think about it, but just now we're just gonna go with I trust them. Alarm bells ring in my head that this is not a place I should be, at least not without Livia's permission. Anxiety shivers throughout my body, but Lucian is the perfect image of serenity. They look totally at ease despite our surroundings, and there's a lingering feeling that I should leave, but their confidence stills me. Katie, I mean, if Katie was watching this back, or if she was like, if she was like in the chat or whatever, if she wasn't sleeping, she would probably already tell you who I'm going to romance, and I have an idea of who I want to romance, but I'm just having a think through in my head. Something tells me that their idea of fun won't endanger me, and so, against my better judgment, I stay. They grin a toothy smile, their arms folded across their chests while they lean against the table. The Knight Commander's currently caught up with exchanging pleasantries with another individual. She's not much for conversation, so our time may be short. However, I will know when she approaches. There is some fun in possibly being discovered, is there not? I do promise it won't come to that. You have my word. I believe them, but I'd rather not be caught, so being prompt with my questioning seems to be the best course of action. I want to know more about the Assassin's Guild. I know you have liaisons with one of them, and I like to understand more about their possible involvement. They avert their gaze, tapping a clawed finger to their lips once, twice, and then they look at me again. Doing some private investigations, are we now? I assume it's private anyway, considering you came to me to ask about those lurking in the shadows. I would ask Livia directly to give me clearance for the investigation, but taking it upon myself to find a nest of assassins might seem like... Vigilantism? Some sort of tism. Vigilantism. That's what I'm going to say, because it's like being a vigilante, so that's how I'm going to pronounce that word. Yes, more or less. Mads labelled it as something akin to heroism, but Livia would likely see it as idiocy to take such a dangerous task into my own hands. Hell, even I think it is. Do not fret, dear knight. It's with the utmost tact that I will handle your personal exploits. I'm not one to judge. I too enjoy a little adventure. You should take some measure of care though. This will be my only warning. Again, I will remind you that Raiden is not your assassin. He has other games to play. Beheading rulers isn't exactly his repertoire, and a smile graces their lips and it looks like they're refraining from rolling their eyes. He will incessantly remind you of his skill and his inability to miss. A bother, but he doesn't lie about this. The laugh escapes me. The laugh that escapes me is a knee-jerk reaction, so we're like, I remember that cocky was my first impression, but what makes you think he wouldn't? Perhaps he gets a hefty reward for it. You would think a large sum of money would sway someone that kills for it, but not this one. Something like affection takes over their gaze and their posture noticeably changes with it. Raiden? Do I keep saying Raiden or Raiden? I keep forgetting. Raiden is skilled enough to find work that could amount to the same assumed reward if he wished it, but taking the lives of leaders of the place he lives is not the kind of chaos he's attracted to. With chaos there's also order in equal measure, and denying the kingdom of its figureheads that represent it would create much chaos. There is a method to his madness. You mean to say he wouldn't do that because he cares about the state of the kingdom? Oh, it's not that romantic, more along the lines that he cares about the home he lives in. A burning shack is not preferable to a safe shack. Obviously a burning homestead is bad, yes. There's a possibility that Lucian is covering for Raiden, but by all previous accounts, Raiden is not unusual to the palace grounds. Livia even accounted for him. It sounds like he's more comfortable with being a nuisance in high up places and has been for a while. That makes their story more believable, I suppose. A well-trained assassin with some morals, hopefully. That bodes well for the rest of his lot. Or does it? He might be the only one, so you never know. Sorry, I saw a fly, but I think I absolutely missed. I did, and it's still flying about. That aside, do you think it's... That aside, do you think it's possible that he'd answer my questions? Maybe humour them a little? He'll humour you for certain, but how much he'll reveal to you is entirely up to him. So if you're patient enough to weather his teasing, I can arrange a meeting and from there you can ask your questions. I greatly appreciate it if you can make it happen. Lucian places a grateful hand over his heart, adorned with gold necklaces that glitter like their skin. I can, and I just realised he does have... Sorry, they do have glittery skin. Oh my god, they are amazing. Amazing glittery skin. I can, and I will. I'm sure it'll be an interesting time for you. He's a complex man, as you will see. Their head nods to the door, a knowing look in their eyes. There she is. I can hear the Harbinger's footsteps as clearly as the tolling of bells. Our signal to leave. Instinctively my throat clenches, my eyes darting to the nearest exit. Lucian chuckles and I assume I must look like a surprised animal stuck in a predator's den. They walk forward and lay a reassuring hand upon my shoulder. Not soldier. I am a soldier, but it's my soldier's shoulder. Wow, that is a complex sentence to say. Pressing the other against the wall, that same familiar warm sensation envelops us as they urge us back through. The wall grazes my back as it gently melds shut, and the hairs on the back of my neck stand to attention when I hear the sound of a door creaking open. It's a beautiful scene, but that's to be expected when you look at the surrounding gardens. It's quiet and devoid of life, but the vegetation that inhabits it brings about a different kind of charm. Lucian follows closely behind and the door closes with an echo that reverberates within these empty halls. You're clearly well practiced in that little trick, I'll give you that. Glad to see my efforts are noticed. The sheer confidence Lucian exudes is both reassuring and frightening. Have you any other questions for me? Other than how I should approach a nest of assassins with some tact? Her code of conduct is not something I'm familiar with. Raiden is top of his class, but he's not the speaker for his organisation. His demeanour isn't exactly what it seems on the surface and doesn't encompass the rest of his comrades. I don't think you will meet them, not this day at least. You'll have time to think over and recite your greetings. As part of me deflates and the other is relieved. This armour is heavy, but to know I have this chance feels like shrugging off invisible sandbags. It's one thing to be well versed in combat, more than most, but another to walk into a den of killers without knowing how they'll welcome a knight of the kingdom. Yeah, I don't imagine they're gonna be too happy to see a knight sort of wandering in, you know? Where should I meet them? Should I find you, or... He will find you, as is part of his profession. More comforting thoughts. Couldn't possibly just be a normal meeting? Alright then. Thank you for the advice and your time. I think I've learned all I can right now, so I'll be on my way. Happy to be of assistance. Tread carefully, Knight Steelbolt. What an exchange. Maybe someday I'll get used to all of the odd happenings in my life. What is this thing on my leg? Oh, it's the wire for the mic. I was like, something feels really weird on my leg, but it's the wire. Maybe. Curious, I glance around at the surrounding area. There are no nosy courtiers about, and that is more than a relief. They do love to poke about, but they seem to be wise enough not to get too close from what I can tell. The sun is still high in the sky, and I have no idea when I'll get my meeting with the assassin, or even where. I had a goal in mind when I left my quarters, but that seems to be on hold. I have an unexpected free time to fill. Lost in thought, I'm barely able to register a quick flicker of movement in the corner of my eye. It could be just a person off the path tending to the flowers, of course, but the Novian sunshine is too bright for me to clearly make out their garb. I'm positive it doesn't look nearly as gaudy as the other denizens, though. They're too far off to be eavesdropping, and when they move out of the sunlight, I think I spot a flash of red hair. My thoughts immediately swing to Rue. Do they frequent the palace so freely like our assassin too? Come to think of it, I don't actually know what Rue does at all. Yeah, what is everybody doing around the palace? Everybody just loves to hang about this place. It doesn't seem so safe if people can just come in and out and in and out and do as they please. With so much time on my hands, I reason that I might as well say hello if it does turn out to be them. If that's shaking, I apologize. I see no visible path that will lead me to where they currently are, which means there's a possibility of property damage in my wake. I mutter a silent apology to whoever will have to deal with that. The dude that's just cleaned up the gardens is like, my plants! I awkwardly shuffle through the plants, but I swear I see them carefully shift aside as I pass. The nature of these gardens getting curiouser and curiouser. Said... is it the cat? Cheshire Cat, or is it the white rabbit? Or no, it's Alice, isn't it? Curious and curiouser, said Alice to the cat. I don't know. It's one way around. I totally forgot the line. To be fair, I haven't watched Alice in Wonderland in a while. As I follow maybe Rue, the figure moves further away, disappearing down a path I haven't seen before. It's a tight trek that snakes around some of the crumbling buildings, descending further down. Oh, we're going underground. Oh, down and out. When I manage to scrape through the narrow passageway, I find myself in the town square. That wasn't at all an obvious means of getting here, so I assume Rue is not, in fact, supposed to be in the palace. Yeah, they've found a secret passageway into the palace, which is fun. They stop outside one of the crooked buildings as three excited children scurry towards them. Rue laughs heartily at their exuberance as their tiny hands paw at their cloak, pulling them this way and that. Rue produces a perfect bunch of yellow flowers with a flourish from underneath said cloak. Daffodils, I believe. They've clearly been unearthed and not just plucked, dirt still dangling from the scraggly roots. All of the children eagerly cup their hands, clearly no strangers to the Fae's tricks, and Rue carefully distributes a bloom into each palm. Oh, so they were getting flowers for the children. That's nice. I don't know how many flowers these kids and that kind of see in their town. No, I'm entrusting these friends to you. Be very careful taking them back, understand? Their hearts are being protected by the soil. The children's eyes widen as they look to one another, to their hands, and then back to Rue, all nodding vigorously. When you give them a new home, find a place where they can look to the sun. These little ones love the sun. It makes them positively giddy. Just don't forget to give them water when their dirt is dry. If you do forget, their hearts will shrivel up and die, so be good to them, alright? Oh, and talk to them too. They're fantastic listeners. I'm sure they love to hear all about your adventures. I know I do. They smile and give the smile they give the kids, is wide enough to flash those pointy teeth, but the children are unperturbed. They rock on their heels, laughing and bouncing, and mindful of how they hold their new treasure and heeding the phase warnings. I can hear multiple thank yous coursing over one another. They messily scatter, bumping shoulders as they run off back to wherever they came from. I feel the warmth in Rue's gaze as they watch them leave even from here. They seem fond of you. Those flowers were nice. Do you come to the gardens often? Rue turns to me and flinches, a hand jokingly and dramatically coming up to shield their eyes. My, you're bright today! A lovely, shining beacon of a night! Saw me, did you? The palace gardens are home to some of the happiest plants I've seen. It's nice to say hello once in a while. Oh, so Rue just goes there to say hello to the plants, which is nice because plants need to be talked to. They need to be talked to grow as well as water. You need to speak to your plants. And not like the D&D spell speak with plants. Also, what you said just then sounds awfully a lot like... What did he say? A pickup line? A pick-me-up line? My brows climb to my hairline. I'm just saying hello. I certainly wouldn't use such a pickup line. Oh, no, that's not what I meant. But I must say, of all lines, that's the one someone told you? Something the matter with it? I was told it would give someone a good chuckle. It didn't make me laugh, but if you didn't mean it like that, maybe that's... It's a lost cause. Someone has been telling Rue some truly terrible lines, and for their sake, I won't elaborate. Probably better they just forget. So, anyway... Careful though, sometimes we fail like to whisk endearing humans such as yourself far away. You might find yourself in a different place come the morrow. The morrow being on the morrow, meaning tomorrow, not Princess Bubblegum's morrow bird. She was like, I'll be back on the morrow, and they thought, and was like, oh, she's coming back tomorrow, and then Jake was like, no, she's coming back on her bird. So he didn't actually have until tomorrow. He had to wait because she was coming back on the bird. But the morrow generally means tomorrow. A snicker escapes their lips and their dark eyes sparkle. I'm only kidding, of course. No need to worry. So what brought you to the gardens? Was it just so you could give the children some flowers? For them and for someone else having a bad day, I always try to bring them something nice when he gets like this. They produce from their cloak yet another bundle of daffodils. These are brighter, their petals bigger. Their heads seem to lean gratefully into Rue's touch as they run their fingers over the stems. The gardens are curious, have you noticed? Something about the place feels different. Not so strange to get magic involved with caring for them, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Nowhere else feels quite like it does up in the palace. It's a queer place for sure. Magic doesn't come naturally to me as Rue, but the gardens don't seem to strike me as unusual. Maybe they're able to sense something I'm not. The only strange thing I've heard is about the large spiders that inhabit it. Jesus Christ, can you imagine the giant spiders that are in that garden? I would absolutely wet myself. We had a spider in the flat, I think it was yesterday, and it was absolutely massive. The thing jumped. It actually jumped when I was on the couch and then I jumped onto the floor and the thing jumped and Katie shouted at the same time, so it jumped in unison with us and it was scary, but we got rid of it. Never mind me, what about you? More important nightly duties today? Something like that. I'm waiting on someone but I have no idea when or even where that'll be. But I'm doing nothing. Waking up so early didn't work out in my favour. Now I have nothing on my plate and grogginess is just a way of life for me. Yuck, I hate spiders. I know, right? Like, we don't, like, I don't tend to kill them, but I have to be like the spider catcher in our flat because Katie doesn't really deal well with spiders, so I have to catch them all, but I don't squish them or anything, but like I just pick them up with like a spider catcher that we've got and throw them out the window, but this one was huge. Its legs were it looked like that, and it was like wild because it jumped and it was so fast as well. I was like, what the even hell is that? That's like the biggest spider we've ever seen in the flat. It was scary. Well, I wouldn't say that. Now you can do whatever strikes your fancy. Optimistic as always. course, no need to stay sprightly. Novus is all hard walls and even harder looks. It's no fun, really. Need to stay sprightly even because of everything else. Rue... Oh, I don't think Rue's supposed to say this. Rue's talking about themselves in the first person. Rue feigns an angry stoic face, squishing their cheeks together to make their jaw more square and then pokes out their tongue. I blink once and stutter a laugh. Though, if you like, you can tag along and help me cheer up one grumpy baby. Grumpy baby? I don't know. It depends if the baby is actually like a baby or if it's like a dog. I'd rather it be a dog or a cat. There was one the size of my fist in the house last week. I was not impressed to find the cat simply watching the blighter instead of dispatching. I had to throw a shoe at it. I mean, what else have you got cats for, right? If not to catch spiders. So the fact that they were just sitting there watching it. I've seen videos of people like hold their cats up to the spider. Maybe that's what you had to do, just move them closer to the spider. I hope when you threw the shoe at it, it actually got it and it didn't like miss or whatever and it went disappearing into the rest of the house. Because that's what freaks me and Katie out the most is when they all like disappear and you can't find them anymore. That's like the nightmare. You have a child? Rue gapes like a fish, pausing to process my question, and then they erupt into uproarious laughter. They're careful of the flowers they hold, but they clutch their stomach almost comically, hamming it up. Oh my goodness, no, Eric, he's the baby I speak of. I don't even want to think about that. I know, right, that's like the worst part, but luckily enough, I mean, we always managed to try and find them, but one time, one of them ran around the back of Katie's bed, and it was like, we had to like move the bed to try and like find it. It was a tough time. Maybe I'm delirious, but Eric, a baby? Thank God they mean Eric and not like some random baby. You call Eric that? I have a slight inkling that he may not be fond of such a nickname. He adores it, you'll see. And maybe you can make nice when you're there. Don't know how your meeting went, but I think he could do with more company. What do you say? I half shrug and nod my agreement. Sure, why not? Rue claps their hands in delight and they display that wide, sparkling smile again. Wonderful, I'm sure you'll get along famously. You might grunt a lot, but in time you'll get the good grunts. The good grunts, huh? They nod confidently and begin to wander off the cobbled path that leads into the forest that lingers on the outskirts of town. I don't immediately follow, but I do watch them go, and Rue swiftly notices my absence and turns around, waving to me as if to say, "Come now." I sigh and oblige, catching up with them and matching their long-limbed stride. For my sake, I hope Eric is at least awake. The thought of me, a knight, stirring him from his slumber doesn't paint an attractive picture in my mind. Here we go. Rue leads us along a far-off trail to a place nestled deep in the lush woodland. I can't say I'm surprised to find that Eric lives in such a reclusive environment. He does come off as an emotionally removed. Why am I adding words to sentences now? And emotionally removed? He does come off as emotionally removed, as he is physically removed from everyone around him. Despite that somber thought, the closer we get, I can see some of the charm in his humble abode. We approach a cabin that's shielded under the boughs of some large old trees, a weathered but exuding coziness. It's unquestionably warmer in comparison to the cold stone of the castle, at least. Again, Eric making a home nestled away in the bosom of nature, but not straying too far from the castle, makes perfect sense. There's an illusion here that I feel. There's an illusion there, I feel. Something that teases how he must feel about his situation. I'm sorry, I'm mixing my words left, right and centre. Though now I realise I see no lights emerging from the windows and an immediate spike of worry hits me. Maybe I jinxed myself earlier with that thought of finding him sleeping. I can feel dread welling in my gut. I need to stop soon. I'm like not even doing proper sentences anymore. It's a bad time. We didn't come to wake him, right? Rue minds their footing as they step over a gnarled root, pursing their lips. He'll be fine. When he's not drowning in that golden dizzy juice, he's fairly active. He insists he keeps himself strong. I'm skeptical, but I hope they're right. Before the dread can wind its spindly fingers any tighter around me, there's a loud crack that rings out and sends birds that had been nesting in the trees flying. Sounds like a tree limb is snapped, but I see no evidence of the sort. Hear it again, but this time the source is closer, near to the cabin. Rue, hearing the same, looks at me with a knowing wink. They hum a tune and pick up the pace, launching into an almost skip. Eric, good morning! I follow their excited bounding around the corner, and the view that greets me punches me square in the throat. Oh god! Oh, whoa! He's half naked! For all you Eric fans out there, enjoy, because this is full screen for you, because I have to. So yeah, Eric is cutting, as most men do in these things when they're cutting wood and everything like that. They have to be shirtless so that you can see their massive muscles and see how hinged they are. Eric has an axe clutched in his broad palms in his mid-strike, aiming for the neatly placed log that waits upon the felled stump. He cleaves the blade into the stump instead, quick to yank it free, and throws us both a hard glare. I can't tell at this point if it's better or worse that we didn't find him still sleeping. I would say it was probably better if he was sleeping, because then I wouldn't have to see him topless. His chest heaves, sweat rolling down his body and beads from his laborious efforts, and what sunlight sneaks through the canopy showcases this in kind. I make an attempt not to look, but it's Rue who states the obvious. Oh boy, you're a sweaty one this morning. Thanks, Rue. I have awoken. Have you romanced any women yet? No, I have not, but we've just got an image of Eric shirtless, so you are very welcome for that, Katie. No, we've not got a chance to romance any of the women yet, but I'm deciding whether or not to... Yes, I'm deciding on who I want to romance, but I think if you watch this back, you'll probably have a good idea of who I'm going to romance. No, I know. Eric grimaces at the playful Faye and wipes the sweat from his brow. He's not appealing to me. I know, right? This is why I was like, no, not a shirtless man. I'm working, Rue. Yes, but so early? Is that actually enjoyable? The wood isn't going to spring legs and run away. At least not this kind. Eric shakes his head dismissively. Very funny. The ex-knight turns his gaze to me now, that lion's mane of bronze hair falling in his eyes. But that gaze remains firmly fixed upon me. We are so describing this man as if we're absolutely falling for him, but this is absolutely not the case in my sense over here. He grunts deeply, and I'm smart enough to know that it isn't one of Rue's aforementioned good ones. I see you brought someone with you this time. Just a fellow wayward soul I picked up along the road. The smile they give him is a hard contrast to the tired look they're given in return. Wrong audience, exactly right. Yeah, Eric is probably for someone else, but just not for me. Rue, you can't just drag people who don't want to be here along. Sarah wanted to, even said as much. No, I mean, oh no. Not like I have anything better to do. Let's go with that, because I'm not saying I'm glad I came and saw you shirtless chopping wood, because that's, like, not appealing to me in the slightest. There's some truth to what Rue says, but not entirely. Somewhat true. I do have time to waste, but Rue offered me the chance of an outing, and I took it. I spy Rue in the corner of my eye, pursing their lips. It's not exactly an elated response, and I can tell they're disappointed by my distinct lack of enthusiasm. Well, what do you expect? I don't think I should have to justify why I go anywhere to him, especially when I have no interest in detaining him right now. I'm going for a bit of a lurk, and it's not because of Eric's man boobs all over the screen. Mrs. Tech just got back from the gym, so I'm going to grab some food. Hope the rest of the stream goes well. That's so fine, Nerdvana. Thank you so much for hanging about. We do have a lurk message if you want to type !lurk in there, and then you can just lurk up. We added that in, so that's fun. But yeah, no, thank you for hanging about. There you go. You've got the nice lurk message. So you're away tending to the boat, but you're still hanging out with us. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Every view is very much appreciated. So yeah, I'm sorry you don't get to enjoy Eric's man boobs anymore. Have fun anyway and all the food. Thanks both. Yeah, catch you another time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Eric doesn't seem to think so though. There's a look of a nice lurk. Thank you for joining. There's a look of disdain on his face, the lingering implication of him trying to convey that he has his eyes on me being communicated through the way in which he holds himself. He remains rigid, and while he affords at least to try and relax, he's doing a shitty job of it. If Rue vouches for you, then fine. I did not expect us to see Eric's man boobs all over the screen, so this is... Dude, can you, like, put a shirt on? Like, you're done chopping wood, like, you've stopped. Did you not, like, leave it, like, sitting, like, somewhere? That's good enough for me. Eric wipes away more sweat that gathers upon his tanned skin with a tattered cloth before tossing it aside carelessly. You know, it's probably like one of those ones where they do it in slow motion where he's like patting himself and he's like waving his hair and it's like all slow-mo and you can see like all the water like coming off him and just be like, oh. Now, why exactly are you here poking about? There's no poking about, at least not yet. Their hand disappears under their cloak and they produce a bunch of bright yellow blooms. Yes, Rue stole some... Not stole, they plucked... Because you're worth it, exactly. Like, Eric could be in, like, you know, one of those, like, adverts and stuff. I forget what that catchphrase is for. I forget the name of the shampoo. I forget it. I came to give you this, Sunshine. Har har har. Don't call me Sunshine. Oh, hush, you're getting a gift, and I wasn't calling you Sunshine. You're a grumpy baby. Yeah, they like to call him Grumpy Baby. How many times have we been over this? Don't call me a baby. Yeah, L'Oreal, there you go. Because you're worth it. Ah, there it is. The adoration he has for the nickname. Rue nods to themselves, pointedly ignoring his protests as they saunter past him to the front of the cabin. He sighs and turns to follow them, so I guess I better tag along too. I guess. There's a small but thriving garden. Thriving, do you like the way I said that word there? Thriving. It flourishes in the sorry, dry dirt that surrounds it. It's neatly kept and clearly tended to with love that I imagine comes from both Rue and Eric. I feel like they have a bit of a hand in hand since Rue likes to take flowers from our garden and give them to other people. I'm sure Eric isn't quite as open about it as they are, but he's gazing upon it with fondness in his eyes. Oh, he's a gardener! Oh! Something about him strikes me as almost sentimental, especially if you look at the company he keeps and claims to suffer. It's an assortment of colours here, but the brightest is the yellow of the daffodils. Possibly their favourite. Maybe they have a penchant for daffodils. This is a beautiful garden. God, don't glaze him up anymore. He's gonna think that we actually like him. Rue's doing it. I can't say I have the skills to care for plants, but they insisted. You've gotten better at it. They tell me you've been keeping them company too. Said you're not much of a talker, but you do try. Oh yeah, Rue talks to the plants as well, which is very cute. Eric folds his arms and purses his lips. He looks a bit embarrassed by that revelation, but he looks at Rue with something that looks like fond annoyance. Oh, so now the flowers are telling on me, huh? Everyone's a talker. They're fond of you, Eric, just like I am. I know, I know. Rue really brings out his softer side, something I didn't think I'd see for myself just yet. It's amusing and humanising. His cool reception to the kingdom and knights had put a wedge between us, but I think I'm closer to seeing Eric's true face. Yay! Well, I'd offer to have you come inside, but it looks like shit in there. Not usually a host for company in my home. You mean you don't usually have people drop in on you without any notice? I mean, God, imagine that. Didn't say that. Got plenty of people dropping in on me, just not in my cabin. He does. I remember when Raiden literally dropped on you. You looked ready to fling him like a skipping stone. Raiden, oh, so they know of the assassin. They know of the assassin that's not the assassin that we're looking for, but part of a guild of assassins. Rue's laughing loudly, rocking back and forth with their arms around their middle as if they're trying to keep their insides from coming out. Because I was. Did you say Raiden? Would he happen to have white hair, scar on his face, and cocky shit-eating smile? That description should be on his wanted poster. It's gonna be on that man's grave. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's the bastard. Bet you saw him at the castle on your patrols, right? So apparently that's commonplace. He's not very discreet about it, is he? Eric rolls his eyes and shakes his head like he's nursing a headache. Apparently not everyone likes this guy, but, you know, he has courtings with the ambassador, so that's fun. So the ambassador, they very much like his company. If you already know, then no. The lad knows he won't get caught, so he enjoys showing off. He certainly made sure to do that when I first encountered him. Word of advice, get used to it. Unless you think of yourself as a skilled runner in armour. Absolutely not. I'm just trying to do my job and I don't think I'll be jumping off any balconies anytime soon. Rue snorts. It can be fun. Don't give Sarah any ideas. Oh my god, no, we're left alone with man boobs. That shall be his name from now on. I have to say that I'm surprised about the company you keep. Is this Raiden the snake that pokes the bear? More than a few times, and I have no idea why he tries. Not like he can hold his liquor. You sound fond of him though, maybe just a little. Eric, as in character as ever, grunts and responds. Fond of a pain in my ass? Not really, but in general, sure. I don't know what makes me look like a mother hen, but he flocks to me all the same. Maybe it could be your luscious long locks that make you look like a mother hen. You know, you kind of look like a mother... I was going to say a mother lion, but mother lions don't have manes. The female lions don't have any manes at all. Maybe but it's your luscious long locks. I think that's what it is that draws people towards you, Eric. Too many people here stick their necks out and get into all kinds of trouble. He's been in that business for a while. I even had the honour of taking him in a few times, although only when he wanted to get caught. We weren't exactly cozy then. He shifts again and it reminds me of the way he held himself when he was reminiscing about Maja. Glimpses of sentimentality that paint Eric in a softer light. He's gotten much better since then. Too good, maybe. There's that fly again. I'm not proud of that, but I'm glad he keeps his head. Can't tell if the boy sidles up to me now because I have no authority and he's comfy, but he's not a bad one, even if he enjoys annoying me. Even behind that gruff demeanour, I can tell he cares for the man. Maybe you're birds of a feather. I can't imagine an assassin keeping many friends, especially not knights, not even former ones. Birds of a feather? I don't kill people for a living, if that's what you're saying. I'm saying it's kinship, Eric, Flashman boobs. Camaraderie, just the same with your fellows. I'm not going to pretend that you trust me as a knight of the order, just like Raiden didn't trust you then. You have my apologies for losing your station, but maybe it's that loss that opened the bridge between you two. All I hear of assassin life is that it's not a happy one. Misery loves company, and maybe Raiden saw fit to be company to you. His lip stiffens. I fear I've been presumptuous, but he doesn't lash out. Rue tenses beside me but offers no input. Oh, so Rue's just been like eavesdropping this entire time and they've just like stepped off to the side, but they've been like that the entire time. Then Eric huffs a laugh, something I certainly didn't expect with the air feeling this tense. He might be onto something, but he's still a stubborn fool. I've known of him for many years now. Maybe he did get sentimental. I mean, shit, me too probably. I guess that's just how it is in this shithole of a kingdom. Nothing like bad luck to bring us all together. Better he visits me than others. Well, there's one person that he visits very on the regular, so I think you're probably maybe number 2 or 3 on the list there, Eric. He folds his big arms across his chest, and he looks at Rue to find them looking right back at him. What? Nothing, you're just sweet, even if your words are clumsy. If you say so. Do they bother you much? The others from the palace, aside from me. Used to, but they've been sleeping on their spying regularly. I know they still keep an eye on me, but they don't bother taking it too far. You've been the only one as of late that questioned me. I can only offer a sheepish smile. I'm not entirely shocked by that revelation. I have been taking things into my own hands. I just want to get a handle on the situation, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. More curious than some, apparently. Could have fooled me. You seem to keep good company, all jokes aside. This place is, excuse me, nice, even if it screams private. Private suits me better, and it's the best I can do, but I'm glad it at least has its minor charms. That might be thanks to its owner, others seem to think so. I don't see it, but I'll take the compliment, though maybe the whole disgruntled drunk part of me would push people away, yet here you both are. Odd that. People can surprise you, sometimes in pleasant ways. Fair enough. He finally smiles, and though it might not be meant for me specifically, it's a start. I might be on good terms with Eric yet. The scenery of the forest is starting to dim into a vermilion hue, and I vaguely remember that there was an event mentioned. Time had passed so easily and I was barely aware of it. Now would likely be a good time to retreat back to the palace. I'm gonna have to excuse myself here and make my way back to the palace. Thank you for the diversion, you two. Eric nods and Rue stands next to him, fingers and nails covered with dirt. Take care out there and thanks for tagging along. I can already tell someone feels better. They nudge him in the ribs with a bony elbow and Eric's demeanour is definitely visibly lighter. With a heavy sigh, his gaze falls to them and is met with a knowing wink. He then turns back to me, albeit a touch exasperated. Got a hunch I'll see you again, so take care until then. Don't poke around too much. Sound advice, I'll try not to let my curiosity get the best of me. Both of them see me off and the trail isn't terribly clear. The forest floor old and trampled by many feet, but I easily trace my steps and head back into the heart of Novus. Here's hoping I have my meeting soon and it won't be a Raiden-esque surprise. I think I'm probably going to end it there. Yeah, why not? I'm going to save here. I don't want to have a look at the gallery. I want to save. Yeah, there we go. We're going to save there, and I'm going to go to the main menu. Yes, I have saved, so don't worry about it. So yeah, we've met every single one of them now, and we know each of their individual intentions. Yeah, well there you go. I had fun with this first part of the visual novel. I'm kind of excited to see where it goes, to be fair. I think it's really good. It's well written so far, and like to be fair, all the characters are likable, considering, you know, like, you know, sometimes you don't get characters that you like and all these things, but I kind of like all the characters. I love the character designs, and like, to be fair, some of the best shots they do in the visual novel are the zoom-ins. Even though we were surprised by Eric's man boobs, which totally a nice surprise. But we're just waiting and seeing what happens. But yeah, something's happening. We're still trying to find an assassin. Thank you for watching. You're very welcome for the stream. Still trying to find out who this assassin is, but we have some connections that we have. Just waiting for the next steps in those. We found out a little bit of history between some of the characters. Some of them have liaised with each other before. Some of them liaised quite often with each other still presently. So yeah, it's exciting, and all these different... I think I have an idea of who I'm going to romance, and Katie probably looking at the characters can tell you who I'm going to romance. But yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Yeah, it's been really cool. I'm looking forward to playing more of it because, yeah, it's very interesting, and a visual novel type-esque thing. I kind of like a good visual novel, to be fair. But yeah, that'll be for next time whenever I'm single streaming again, because hopefully Katie will be back on Monday. Monday, if you like The Last of Us, join us for more of The Last of Us. That is on Monday. We're still on part 1 of The Last of Us, but we're making our way through it. Or if you like Date Everything, then hopefully we should be back with Date Everything the following Friday, so next Friday. If you like that, join that. So join us for one, join us for both, join us for neither. It's totally up to you. Thank you everyone that came in. If you stayed throughout the whole thing, or if you came in and then left, that's totally fine. We absolutely appreciate everyone that joins. It's very much appreciated. Hopefully next time Katie and myself will be back together as a duo. But yeah, Monday for The Last of Us, or Friday for more Date Everything. Everything permitted. But yes, thank you so much again. It's very much appreciated, everyone that comes in and joins, even if you're still lurking about. That's very much appreciated as well. We do like a good lurk. Yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. And hopefully me and Katie, or I, we/I, will see you in the next one.